DRG Media Group and River 92.7 are bringing you all home Oahe Zap games all season long. Tune in on the radio, listen on the app, or watch live on drgnews.com. Now, let's send it to the broadcast booth for some Oahe Zap baseball.
3 is a streak. The Zap are looking for number 4 in a row as they welcome in the Plainsmen Baseball Club on a cloudy and overcast afternoon here at historic Hyde Stadium. Hello, everybody. Justin Coward alongside Dylan Beach and birthday boy Eli Lewis here for the Zap versus the Plainsmen in game number 2 of this 3-game series. It's been a great couple days for the Oahe Zap. They are winners of 3 in a row. They have scored 35 combined runs in their last 3 ball games, double digits in each of them, and they have been absolutely rolling as they look to make it 4 in a row here this afternoon as they are getting set. We're about 10 minutes away from first pitch. We're so excited for you to be joining us here on River 92.7 and also online at drgnews.com on the River 92.7 station page. And it's been a lot of hits, a lot of runs, and a couple grand slams here in the past couple days for the Zap, Dylan.
Yeah, it has been an offensive explosion. They started quiet yesterday, but piled them on their 3rd consecutive game with double-digit runs.
And it was a little bit of a nerve-wracker yesterday. The Plainsmen got out in front 3-0, a good start from Manny Barraza. But the Zap could not be held down for long. At the bottom of the 4th inning, they got a couple across, and then Vince Palizzi with bases loaded goes deep and kind of pulled a deja vu trick on us, his 2nd grand slam in as many days.
Yeah, not too many players hit a grand slam once in a year, let alone 2 in 2 days. And he's just really been swinging it, and he has as many grand slams as some of the guys in years past have had homers.
And he continues his great work at the plate. A couple other guys who have been hitting the ball very well at the plate have been Ty Farwell and Gavin Frazier. Now, Ty is not in the lineup here this afternoon, and neither is Vince Palizzi, as those guys get 2 very well-deserved days off here this afternoon. We'll get you to these lineups here in a little bit. Gavin Frazier has been moved back into that leadoff spot, and that's where he has been flourishing here for the Zap as of late. He has been hitting the ball very well. On the mound today is Esteban Baca. We see Matthew Array of the Plainsmen, so that'll be a good matchup between these 2 teams. Plainsmen, a travel team that doesn't have the deepest numbers that we've seen from Spearfish, from Hastings, and from Casper. So we saw a couple injuries yesterday, but these guys have got to be tough. We just kind of hope for the best. We didn't get any word back on their center fielder who hurt himself yesterday. He was actually kind of diving and looks like he's back in the lineup here this afternoon, so that's great news to see. Brody Alexander, he dove and made that's Brady Alexander, who replaced his center fielder yesterday. Then we saw behind the plate Easton Mitchell wear one off the collarbone. We got to talk to the training staff. He actually took it up in the neck, and so that was more of a stinging pain that was going to go away after some time than anything else. But Plainsmen can't really afford to be having any injuries at this point in the season, or really any point in the season with these skinnier numbers in their lineup.
Yeah, when you don't have the biggest rosters, you can't really afford to lose anybody. Every player is just as important as the rest, and it was a scary moment a couple of times yesterday when you wondered if they'd be missing some time, but early signs, hopefully they'll be back within action here soon.
So what's been working for the Zap? They've been patient at the plate. They've gotten timely hitting from some of their better hitters, but we've started to see them bring runs across when they've had runners in scoring position, something that they have struggled with throughout this early part of the season. That is going to be a huge factor for this Zap team as they move deeper into the season. They've been able to get them on. They just can't bring them home, but we've seen that come to fruition here in the past couple days. We'll have a big night tonight. I think we'll have head coach J.B. Habiger step away from the diamond for a couple minutes. He said he's going to join us around the 2nd inning of work. And then we got a big day tomorrow here at the ballpark. It'll be pure Wildcat night for South Dakota Special Olympics. They've got all kind of great things that'll be going on tomorrow evening. A dunk tank. They've got their bingo cards. And they got a whole lot more going on.
Yeah, it should be a really fun night at the ballpark. We'll get Coach Habiger on tonight. We'll get to hear all about Pure Wildcat night tomorrow night, a silent auction, a dunk tank. I mean, what more can you ask for?
We got to talk with owner Bob Habiger down in the stands before the game. He's walking around. He's got his Zap jersey on, and he's got to be a pretty happy guy from these past couple days. We already mentioned it, but 35 combined runs in their past 3 games, and 2 of those came against the 3rd-place Casper Spuds. This offense seems to have definitely found a rhythm that's working well for them.
Yeah, and it's hard not to have a smile on your face when your team's on a 3-game win streak and you're scoring double-digit runs in all of those wins. And you're really finally hitting your stride when you really needed to in this point of the season.
Devin Skelton said it yesterday. You cannot take these guys lightly. This is a team made up of college players, so there's a lot of talent over there for Plainsmen. We'll be interested to see Matthew Arai today. He's got a little bit of a curveball, a decent fastball, and for Esteban Baca, Dylan, you know him pretty well. We've seen him pitch a couple times here at Hyde Stadium.
Yeah, really lively guy, a type of guy who, when he has confidence, he can really sling it.
We saw a great start from Josh Porter yesterday afternoon. He settled in after giving up those 3 runs and actually went much deeper into the game than I think anybody expected. But, that is kind of the key for this Zap squad, especially in a long homestand, that they are kind of starting to head towards the back end of. They're through the halfway point. They've played 6 games here. They've got 4 more to come in the following 5 days. A welcomed off day coming Friday afternoon, but to only use 3 arms in back-to-back games is huge for the Oahe Zap.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's the longest start we've seen out of a pitcher so far this season, and it's back-to-back games where you've only used 3 arms, and when you can kind of string those together, you can set yourself up for maybe a bit of an opener bullpen day like we're going to see today.
And it'll be interesting if Jamie Habiger can kind of go to some arms maybe he didn't expect to, if this Zap squad can get out to an early lead like we saw them bounce back from a deficit yesterday and build up a nice lead. If they can get it out early, we might be able to see some of those arms that Jamie Habiger doesn't really want to use in crunch time and is able to throw out with a 5-run, 6-run, maybe even a 7-run lead.
And I think today will probably be an opener, so I feel like you're going to see a lot of different arms, pitch some guys who haven't been in action in a while because of those shortened games where you've been able to use just 3 pitchers, but maybe see guys come in for 1 inning so they can still be available for the next game, but it'll be interesting to see how the coaching staff kind of maneuvers that today.
What will also be interesting to see if the Zap can get the win today and hopefully get the win tomorrow going into that off day. Sometimes the off day is what you don't want for a team that's been playing as well as the Zap have been playing as of late.
Yeah, and sometimes you think rest, that's going to be a good thing, but when you're seeing the ball at the plate this well, sometimes rest is the last thing you want. You want to keep going and keep swinging, but I think the rest day is going to be pretty influential for some of those guys who maybe can't be afforded those off days here and there.
Baseball is a funny thing because when you're playing with momentum, you want as many games in a row as you can possibly find. And that's what the Zap have had here lately. 10 games in 11 days, all of which are here at Hyde Stadium. And we would love to see you get out to Hyde Stadium. Good crowd making their way in here on an overcast night as the clouds are hanging over top. We don't expect any rain. We had some earlier this morning, making it extra hard work for our fields crew, a.k.a. the Oahe Zap down getting the field ready for today. But it looks perfect, and we hope that you guys can make it out to Hyde Stadium. A lot going on here with the concession stands, the mid-inning games, and we got a couple birthdays here in the house today as well.
Yeah, we got a big birthday in the booth. Producer Eli Lewis. We got some fun theme nights coming up. We got the Pier Wildcats tomorrow night. We got Bark at the Park next week. All sorts of fun to be had here at the ballpark. Keep an eye out. I'm going to be trying to hand out some flyers which can be used as a free GA ticket here in the next coming days.
We'll talk more about that all throughout the game today as the Plainsmen Baseball Club are being announced their starting lineup out on the field. So let's meet them. As always, we start with our visiting team. It'll be Brady Alexander starting in center field today after the injury sustained yesterday afternoon. He'll be leading off. Dax Wandler, another name that we'll see for the first time here this afternoon. He will be playing shortstop for Plainsmen this afternoon. In the 3-hole, it'll be Christopher Ortega, the designated hitter for Plainsmen. Brian O'Connell will be catching today, another new name that we haven't seen just yet. He'll be cleaning up in that 4th spot of the lineup. Jake Steffes playing first base today. Ivan Gomez batting 6th and playing second base. Dean Samuel on the hot corner batting 7th. Amari Hackett in right field and Braden Boyle in left in the 9-hole. For the Oahe Zap, it'll be the stalwart, the cornerstone at shortstop, Gavin Frazier. In the 2-hole, Nick Golden playing right field. Connor Hammonds getting the start today at first base. Garrett Gledhill, who's been coming off of an injury, will be DHing this afternoon and playing in the 4-hole, cleaning up for the Zap. Aiden Johnson at third base batting 5th. Caden Bazanski at second base batting 6th today behind the dish. We saw him have a great day the other day. Noah Cadena will be batting 7th, wearing number 7. Andrew Phillips will be playing center field and batting 8th. And in the 9-hole, Emiliano Curiel, the ever-speedy Emiliano, playing left field and rounding out the lineup for the Zap. It'll be good to see Connor Hammonds get some consistent at-bats and get to start in the field today and hopefully fall right into the place that he's hoping to get into for this Zap lineup.
Yeah, a bit of a rotated lineup today, giving some guys some much well-deserved rest in this long, long homestand. You got to keep everybody fresh and give some of those bench guys some opportunities to really break out.
I see a Red Bull being put in the back pocket of one of the Zap players. They're trying to stay sharp as attack here with this long homestand as we send it down to Brooks Cartwright for our national anthem down on the field. We'll step away for the moment. We'll be right back with first pitch here at Hyde Stadium between the Zap and Plainsmen baseball.
Veterans and non-uniform military personnel salute the flag. For dramatic national anthem, let's go to Oahe Zap. Welcome to Jamie Warner.
That was Jamie Warner singing and belting our national anthem, letting us know that we are ready for first pitch. It'll be Dylan Turner, who was calling balls and strikes yesterday out in the field, and Chris Dozark behind the dish tonight as our umpiring crew. Zap are wearing their white tops with Zap stretched across the chest, outlined in blue and yellow. Their yellow caps, which I think is a first here at home, and their baby blue bottoms. The Plainsmen are in their white bottoms with their black tops. Plainsmen across the chest in white and outlined in green. They got their numerals in that forest green outlined in white. As Estevan Baca throwing a couple warm-up pitches, about to get set here as we are moments away from first pitch. And, it's kind of tough to ask the Zap to score double-digit runs in 3 games alone, let alone 4 games, but hopefully this offense continues their great tear that they've been on as of late.
It's going to be tough to ask them to, but I think there's a lot of fans here tonight that are going to ask them to, but the way they've been swinging it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
I think there's a couple broadcasters here that are going to ask them to. It's been a lot of fun.
Probably the coach, too.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to ask Jamie Habiger about this offensive explosion we've seen here lately. Field looks outstanding here this afternoon as the plate has been painted crystal white. Looks pearly down there as Estevan Baca continues to fire some warm-up pitches.
Bit of a crook in the left field foul line, though, down in the infield.
That third base line, that chalk is running a little bit to the west here this afternoon. We saw maybe one of the most, peculiar plays yesterday. Easton Mitchell, the Plainsman catcher, after an Andrew Phillips or Aiden Johnson?
Andrew Phillips.
Andrew Phillips laid down just a picture-perfect bunt. It was just kind of dancing and tiptoeing along that third base line. Easton Mitchell trying to force it foul with the forces of nature, getting down on all fours and blowing on the baseball. And Dylan Turner, when he saw him do that, well, he called him on it quickly and said, fair ball for Andrew Phillips. But, hey, you know what? You got to credit Easton Mitchell. You got to get the job done any way you can.
A lot of times you'll see the guy with their gloves maybe trying to produce some wind. I've never seen someone try to blow it off course themselves.
Well, now you have. Brady Alexander steps into the right-handed batter's box, and now for the ball game. As Estevan Baca, working from the windup, peeks in, comes set, and delivers the first pitch, and it's high for ball one. We are off and running here on a Wednesday night at Hyde Stadium. Decent breeze making its way out, benefiting the hitters in the left-handed batter's box as Baca comes set and delivers the 1-0. That is drilled towards center field, and Andrew Phillips is going to have to chase this one to the wall. Brady Alexander making his way to second. He's going to chug around and hit the brakes, and a stand-up double to lead off the game is a good way to start for Plainsmen.
It's certainly not the start you'd want for the Zap, but that is a very nice swing to start the day off for the Plainsmen.
Brady Alexander charges one out into left center field and gets himself second base, and that'll bring up Dax Wandler, the shortstop today for Plainsmen. Haven't seen him yet, but Plainsmen going to try some new things out today after losing 12-4 yesterday. You're going to have to score a lot of runs to keep up with this Oahe Zap offense as of late. First pitch to Wandler is in there for strike one. That breeze keeping up that flag, letting it blow in the wind, blowing pretty steady out of right field. As Baca takes a quick peek back at Alexander at second base, now delivers to Wandler. That fouled off, careens off Noah Cadina's mask and into the netting, and quickly 0-2.
Good bounce back here after some early adversity. We'll see if Esteban can get his first K of the day.
Yeah, that would be a early dagger for the Plainsmen if they could get a leadoff double and weren't able to bring him home. In a game that you know that offense is a premium, you got to score a lot of runs. See if Baca can come back and get Wandler. The 0-2 up and away, ball one. Good pitch. Try to get him to chase. Wandler did not offer. Dylan, I should probably ask you this tomorrow on Wildcat night. Here's the 1-2 from Baca. Just a bit outside for ball two. Are you looking forward to a day off? Is it much of a day off for you interns on the Friday, or you got to get ready for the weekend series?
I think it's going to be a mixture of both. I'm sure we'll have to come in, but I am certainly looking forward to Friday.
Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. A great off-speed pitch from Esteban Baca. I think Wandler was sitting fastball, and he's the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Christopher Ortega. Don't throw anything over the plate too good for Ortega to hit. He is a beast. He puts a swing on one. It's going to travel a long ways. Baca comes set. First pitch to Ortega. Good breaking ball. He throws back-to-back breaking balls for strikes. Ortega was flinching out of the way of that one. That curveball had him guessing. I can imagine that your duties as an intern, as Baca delivers the 0-1, swung on and missed for strike two. I can imagine your duties as an intern are probably tough. You probably have a lot of difficult jobs and duties that you have to do, but you always look forward to throwing the headset on and calling the game at the end of the day.
I think I'm in charge of laundry tomorrow.
Swing and a miss, 3 straight breaking balls to Christopher Ortega, and he goes down swinging. So a great little sequence there from Esteban Baca as he's quickly ahead with 2 outs. Runner still standing on second. And that'll bring up Brian O'Connell. O'Connell with a big swing and a miss. So Esteban Baca gave up a leadoff double on his second pitch of the ball game. And there hasn't been contact since. He sat down the last 2 hitters. He's ahead 0-1 to Brian O'Connell. Baca with the 0-1. Up and in for ball one. Friday will be a welcomed off day, certainly for the players. I would love to carry a continuous win streak into that day. The 1-1 driven down the left field line, curling and foul.
Not too sure what I'm going to be up to on Friday. Might go hit the range again.
Sounds like a pretty good idea. No game Friday, games on Saturday and Sunday. And then we'll be apart for a couple days as the Zap go on the road. 1-2. Make it 1-3. So the leadoff double does not come around to score for the Plainsmen. A great rebound from Esteban Baca. And he gets 3 strikeouts after the double. And we'll keep it right here for our first inning Fiber Fact, brought to you by Venture Communications. Venture Communications is always doing great things, folks, and they're doing great things on their Facebook. They're doing great things out in the community. They're delivering fiber optic to so many different homes, so many people, and fiber is really your best option, especially with this weather that can happen at any time in central South Dakota. Fiber fact of the day, the first successful transmission of light through a curved glass rod, a precursor to fiber optics, was achieved by Daniel Collin and Jacques Babinet in 1842. As happy birthday is being sung here to our producer, director extraordinaire, Eli Lewis, and even gets to toss out some T-shirts. Problem is, nobody's looking up towards the broadcast booth to catch these T-shirts, so he's just doming kids on the back of the head.
No one turned around.
Launching these T-shirts. I think Brooks Cartwright did not announce that it was coming from our broadcast booth. Big thanks to Venture Communications for delivering our first inning Fiber Fact and doing so each game here at Hyde Stadium. Folks, seriously, check out what Venture's doing on Facebook. They've got Shiloh, the AI baby, always cracking us up with great things and great posts each week. And Venture, young, exuberant team, delivering fiber optic to the state of South Dakota. And we might need to get Eli some more T-shirts because no one looked.
He about knocked some lady's pretzel out of her hand down there.
Yeah, that almost, nobody's been ever upset in history about a free T-shirt being thrown. Tell you, she might have been the first. She's got that pretzel in the right hand, and Eli Lewis almost made perfect connection with it, just launching it down.
Four-seamer T-shirt right to the pretzel.
Did his best Hudson Ivy impersonation, throwing its sidearm down there. Then we get our first look here at Matthew Arai. Arai, a tall, skinny right-hander. As we mentioned, he's got a good breaking pitch. He's showing off that curveball here now in his warm-up pitches. 1, 2, 3 will be Gavin Frazier, Nick Golden, and Connor Hammonds.
I'll say these pants for the Plainsmen look really clean right now. I hope they're not expecting them that white tomorrow. I'm not a miracle worker. If they slide, they might have to buy some Tide sticks.
I am excited to see the laundry job done by our boy Dylan Beach.
I'm going to do my own laundry there in the morning, too, so I can get some new Zap shirts back in the rotation again.
Not a bad idea. I was just about to ask if I could drop a couple things off with you before you head over to the laundromat. Gavin Frazier will climb in. He's been swinging a hot bat for the Zap as of late. See if he can get on base. Here's the leadoff man. First pitch from Arai is off the plate for a ball 1. What a fun couple nights it's been at the ballpark. Not to say we don't have fun when the Zap lose. We still have a great time as the 1-0 taken for strike 1. Good breaking ball catches the middle of the plate there for Arai. But it's a little bit more fun when the Zap come out on top, and they've done that the last 3 days. They look to do it for a 4th day in a row here, and it was a good start for Esteban Baca as Gavin Frazier takes ball 2 on the outside corner.
That's kind of like the perfect explanation of Esteban Baca. I mean, he sees some adversity, but once he gets that first strikeout, he really goes to attack.
The 2-1 to Frazier in there for strike 2. We're seeing a heavy dose of that breaking pitch from Matthew Arai. Closed stance. Arai works out of the stretch as Frazier rips one down the left field line. That's going to bounce foul in the empty Plainsman bullpen. Some more fans slowly but surely making their way in. And folks, if you're listening, if you're out of town, maybe you live an hour or so away, or if you're up in Oneida listening to the Zap baseball games this season, here's the 2-2 to Frazier. Checks his swing, lets it bounce in front of the plate, and works the count full. If you're going to come to one game, you got to come to tomorrow's game for the Pierre Wildcats and show your support for Special Olympics South Dakota. They've been at every game this season. They might be the biggest Zap fans here in town. They're also selling bingo cards. The 3-2 payoff pitch for Frazier. He keeps it alive, sends that one foul down the left field line and over the fence.
He's been just a little early on a couple just almost identical swings.
Yeah,
there.
really were identical. He sent him into the same exact spot. That one just had a little bit more height on it, maybe a little bit more power, so maybe he's timing Array up a little bit better. So we'll do the 3-2 all over again. And Frazier rips this one. Well, he sure timed that one up nicely as it bounces into left field off the glove of Braden Boyle, and now Frazier thought about testing the arm of Boyle as it careened off his glove. But Boyle scampered over to it quickly, and Gavin Frazier, you can still see the feet marks in the dirt of where he hit the brakes right there. It's about a 5-foot-long skid mark across the infield.
He ruined the perfect infield out there. It looked so good.
He sure did. So Nick Golden, another guy who's got it going nicely.
Third time's a charm, though. He was starting to catch up to some of those pitches and just couldn't sneak it past them.
So see if Nick Golden can move him around. He chops one to the first base side, and that's through the glove of Jake Steffes. Gavin Frazier, he's going to head to third this time. Throw coming across the diamond, not in time. Nick Golden was about midway between first and second before he headed back to the first base bag, but station to station go the Zap and picking up right where they left off. We'll see how they score that one. It's, as of right now, being scored as a hit. Steffes could have gotten to that ball. Would have been a tough play to make. Just went right underneath the glove. And now Connor Hammonds, who has been just dying to break through. He's had a couple opportunities. He got the walk-off hit 2 days ago. But, of course, that was to institute the run rule in that ball game against the Spuds. Now he swings over top of an off-speed pitch for strike one.
And he just about had his first Zap hit the other day, but it ended up going down as an error, so still hunting for that one.
Right, that ball he hit was a sacrifice fly. The 0-1 to Hammonds in the dirt. That bounces away from the catcher. Here comes Frazier. He's going to risk it all. He slides in head first past a diving Brian O'Connell. And now on his way to third is Nick Golden. So the aggressive base running for the Zap continues. And just like that, they lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. I'll tell you what, you give Gavin Frazier an inch, he's going to take a mile. And he continues to do it, just did it right there. That ball didn't get but 10 feet away from Brian O'Connell. I don't even think O'Connell thought Frazier was crazy enough to try to steal home on that play, but he did, and gets the Zap the run.
And Golden going from first to third on the play, too. I mean, when this Zap team is running the bases at their highest level, they are fun to watch.
Well, I know Gavin Frazier is an aggressive base runner as the 1-1 into Hammonds falls in for strike two. But there may not be any more aggressive base runner than Nick Golden. His triple the other day was so asinine that he went for third, rounding second. I mean, he was out by a mile, but luckily the ball bounced off the third baseman's glove. He had no business running for third, but he did it anyway. As this one is driven by Hammonds into right center field. Tracking is Amari Hackett, making the play with the left hand and throwing it in with the right hand. And walking in with both feet is Nick Golden. And the sacrifice fly, something Connor Hammonds has started to do a lot of. Still searching for that first hit, but he's got 2 RBI as a Zap, and the Zap lead 2-0.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not the result he wanted, but he put a really nice swing onto that one, give the Zap a 2-0 lead. And, I mean, when you're swinging it, it's going to get down eventually. You just got to put it down.
Just keep putting balls in play. Good things will happen, and they have for Connor Hammonds. So he's delivered a run here. And now the bases are empty for Gavin Gledhill. We've seen Gavin have a couple big hits since he's come off injury, including a rifling shot down the first base line. Excuse me, Garen Gledhill. And Gledhill shoots one the opposite way. Tracking is Dax Wandler, and he's underneath it and makes the catch for the second out. You know, it's tough to keep up with all these names, new players, new teams coming in, and they're not exactly like Mike Smith. You know, Garen Gledhill, Caden Bazansky. And speaking of a guy who's been playing great as of late, Aiden Johnson will step in. Aiden is playing third base today. We've seen him there mostly throughout the season, of course, as he takes strike one on the bottom of the zone. Of course, we've seen him at third. We've seen him at second a little bit, but he's dominated on the mound as well. He was kind of the guy that got this whole streak going for the Zap as he takes strike number 2 over the middle of the plate. Came out against the Casper Spuds, threw 7 pitches in the first inning, went 1-2-3.
He really had a great performance on the mound the other day, by far his best of the season.
Yeah, it was great to see. And the Zap have been riding that momentum ever since, and he wears an 0-2 pitch off the left leg.
Ow.
That's not what you want to do if you're Matthew Arai. He gets ahead 0-2 and then plunks the side of Aiden Johnson.
That wasn't off speed either. That one was.
That was all heat.
That was. Maybe that one will be enough to keep him out of the lineup tomorrow and get him in the dunk tank. He was one of the players to volunteer to get in if he has the day off.
I think I know a couple candidates that should find their way into the dunk tank.
Yourself?
Hey, if it's for Pier Wildcats, I'll do about just anything, as this one misses off the plate to Caden Bazanski for ball 1. We'll have Carla Miles, who's the head coach and kind of the head of the Pier Wildcats, as that one catches the zone for strike 1. Bazanski trying to shake out of a little bit of a slump that he's been in lately.
Yeah, bounced back nicely yesterday.
Sure did.
Starting to build some momentum, and he's going to get a lot of reps at second base this year.
And he shoots one over the netting and perfectly hits the light pole to save that ball from going out into the street and breaking somebody's window.
I was so confused on what that landed on.
Not really sure how that ball came back into play. We even got a couple groans and oohs and ahs from the crowd. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Bazanski. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And that'll end the bottom of the first for the Zap, but not before they score 2 runs and take a 2-0 lead on 2 hits. Zap picking up right where they left off. They're rolling. We'll be back with the top half of the second inning right after this break on River 92.7 and streaming on drgnews.com.
The summer is here, and you know what that means. The Oahe Zap are back, and we at DRG Media Group are bringing you coverage of every Zap home game all summer long. You can hear all the home Zap games on River 92.7, or you can watch them live on drgnews.com at the River 92.7 station page. The Zap are offering you fans something new every single night, so get out to Hyde Stadium for some Zap baseball this summer. Purchase your tickets on oahezap.com or buy them at the box office. If you can't make it to the game, we've got you covered on River 92.7 Oahe Zap Baseball, brought to you by DRG Media Group.
Baca back out on the mound for the second. He ended the first with 3 straight strikeouts, and we're getting ready to have a very special guest up here in the booth. Coach Jamie Habiger making his way up.
Did we see him? Did he remember? Is he coming up?
I saw him walk beneath us here.
Hopefully he's not headed for the bathroom, and he is headed for the broadcast. Man, we got a new chair for him to sit in, too. This one looks a little bit more comfortable than the last lawn chair we've been having our guests sit in. We had a lot of great guests up in the booth. A big thanks to head coach Steve Steele for joining us yesterday. I'll have to ask Jamie if he's a big golfer. And speak of the devil, here he comes in as he makes his way in. Good start for Esteban Baca as Jamie gets set here and puts on the headset. We'll let our technician get you all settled up here.
As Esteban Baca getting ready to get started, and here we go. Coach Habiger.
All right. Thanks for having me up.
Coach, we didn't know if we'd be able to get you actually in the middle of a game. We thought this would be more of a pregame or postgame type of deal, but thanks for spending some time with us. A little bit of a different vantage point from down there in the dugout.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, usually I'm pretty locked in during the game, so this is a nice little spot you got up here. You know, I've been watching the broadcast. You guys are doing a great job up here, so I figured I'd want to come up and join you.
Well, we appreciate that, and hopefully you can spend a little bit of time with us. You can catch your breath. I know that's a long walk from the dugout up here to the broadcast booth. A lot of stairs as Esteban Baca toes the mound. We'll let Dilla do the play-by-play, but, Coach, this has been a great stretch in these last 3 games. 35 combined runs in the last 3, and it's got to have you feeling pretty good, and I'm sure the guys are feeling pretty rowdy down there in the dugout.
As Baca comes set for the 0-0, that one chopped foul.
We are we got a good routine now, and we're pretty locked in. So we got a lot of guys bought in, and we're just starting to roll. So it's fun now.
Always fun when you're winning games. 3 straight in double digits as Baca comes set for the 0-1. That one misses for ball 1. And Coach, kind of walk us through what's been kind of different this last couple of days. You guys have maybe started eyeing that second half of the season. As Baca, the 1-1, misses for ball 2.
Yeah, we had the Spuds, and that was a couple great wins for us. They beat us, I think, 19 out of 20 times last year. So
wow.
Anytime we could beat them is a plus.
2-1 from Baca, low for ball 3.
We've kind of been doing a pregame meditation session, and that's, I think, helping out, just, releasing all the bad and bringing in the good and locking it in for the game.
Was that Hudson Ivy that got you into grounding?
3-1 from Baca, chopped up. Cadena to first in time for the first out of the inning.
I mean, there's an example right there. Noah, didn't play much college ball, came pretty much almost straight from high school, and his last couple games have been great. He's doing a great job behind the plate for us.
Coach, you got a very crowded catcher's room with a lot of really good players. It's probably a good problem to have, trying to figure out who to play which day, and you kind of just rolled your eyes. It sounds like it has been an issue because everybody seems to start striking the ball really well. We're seeing great defense behind the dish, but it's not only the catcher's room. You got a couple great second baseman, a couple great third baseman, a couple great first baseman.
So that one driven the other way, gets down and left for a one-out bloop single. Frazier sliding in there, keeping that one a single.
Is it kind of just go with your gut on who to go with each day, or this guy maybe has earned a couple more innings because of how he's played in a previous game? What goes into your decision process?
We just have a rotation. One guy goes, the next guy, give him a couple days off. Usually the next guy is a DH. With Ty, it's tough to keep him out of the lineup, so we'll put him at third or first just to keep his bat in the lineup, man. That kid is swinging a great bat right now, really all season.
We've been trying to figure out the last time he went up to the plate and didn't either get hit or get a hit. He has been smoking the ball.
Yeah, he has got a great bat.
And, obviously this ballpark and all these games are so much fun. There's a lot to kind of get involved with, not only for the fans but for some of the younger fans. But something that's really close to your heart, my heart, all of our hearts, happening tomorrow. Pier Wildcat Night coming up tomorrow night. That is going to be one of the most exciting. We've been telling everybody on the broadcast, if there's one game you get to, it's got to be the one tomorrow night.
Yellow from Baca in there for strike 1.
Yeah, that's a good time. I've been doing special ed for about 25 years out in California, and I love it. The kids are excited. They're going to come out and take a little batting practice with us tomorrow before we hit, and it's just a really great event. It's great to have them on our back because they always show up to the games.
Yeah, one from Baca in there for strike 2.
Yeah, Esteban, man, his stuff's looking good tonight. He was fired up before the game, so.
Well, we've seen a couple great starts over the last couple days, including Josh Porter yesterday, who got in a little bit of trouble early and really settled in. We've kind of seen some guys go out.
As that one lined back the other way, going to get down for another single. Runner stops at second. So runners on first and second, one away here for the Plainsmen.
We saw a great start out of Josh Porter, a great start out of Aiden Johnson. And as this season kind of continues on, you're going to lose some guys that have to go back to go back to college for baseball camp. But is it kind of a feel where you think that you can start letting some guys go deeper into ball games as their arms kind of season throughout the year as the time wears on?
Yeah, that's the plan. As you noticed, Easton Pratt, his starts have definitely increased, so that was his plan. And Steve came in, kind of reliever. He wanted to get his arm back in shape, and he asked for the start, and so he got it. But, yeah, we're going to start riding our starters a little more. We got 3 or 4 guys coming in, so that'll help out the staff. We're losing a couple as well, but.
A one from Baca, misses low for ball 1.
But I'm really happy with the pitching staff this year. In the past years that I've been here, that's kind of been a problem, so. We're nipping those big innings in the bud right now.
Absolutely. It's better when you can have those big innings as an offense rather than trying to fight back from them as a defense.
1-1 misses low for ball 2.
And, having a lead, that helps the pitchers on the mound too. Bringing those guys in, we're up 1 with bases loaded. That's a tough situation for any pitcher.
And we've seen one of the biggest issues with this team thus far this season that it seems like you guys have kind of cracked out of over these last 3 games is getting runners in scoring position and not being able
1-1 chopped foul for strike 2.
to bring them across. But, Vince Palizzi said, I've had enough of that. 2 grand slams in the last 2 games. His bat coming to life. Another guy that we saw a lot of last year. Who do you feel like are some of those guys that are coming on for you right now? We've talked about Ty Farwell and Vince Palizzi, but it seems like there's a whole laundry list of guys that are really coming to life.
Sorry to interrupt you. Nick is golden, is swinging a good bat. Alex Jackson's improving every day, even on defense and offense. So, he's making a problem starting lineup. Andrew Phillips had a couple hits last night, so that's getting tough to keep him out with his speed out in center field. Not many drop. I was really surprised to see that one drop in the first inning actually next to him.
As the 2-2 here from Esteban Baca. Misses outside for ball 3. Good play there from Cadena to keep it from the backstop.
we've started calling pitches from the dugout. We didn't do that early on in the season, so calling, because all these catchers come from a college where they're getting pitches called, so we figured take that, load off their mind and start calling pitches for them.
Payoff pitch here from Esteban Baca, driven to left. That one gonna get out. Emiliano Curiel kept chasing and ran out of room. A 3-run shot for the Plainsmen.
Yeah, that's another problem right there. We get behind and we got to serve it up to some of these hitters, and that's unfortunate in college ball. You throw a ball over, it's probably going to go over the fence. But
well, what we've seen and just kind of talked about, we've had the pleasure and honor of calling all the home games here this season. But these 3 innings that you guys give up on the mound and out there in the field, those aren't issues. Feels like those are easy to come back from as an offense because of how hot the bats have been as of late, but it's more so about trying to avoid those big innings, those 6-run, 7-run innings. So are these innings where you just tell your guy, hey, that happens, you're going to get tagged every now and then, you just got to bounce back from it, have a short memory?
Yeah, for sure. Those big innings, the little things hurt us. Missed double play or a bunt that we don't make a play on, or a hit by pitch with 2 strikes. As a pitcher, you got to deal with those mentally in college, so hopefully they can get those down. I try to keep a longer leash on some of these guys, but it's gotten shorter over the past because we have such a huge pitching staff.
Coach, I know we just took you away from the game, but if you were down there, what would you kind of be saying to Esteban Baca in that mound visit, trying to calm him back down?
He's a fiery guy, so he's probably really mad at himself right there for hanging that curveball, but he'll settle down here. And I would just go out there and settle, do your job, and get ahead early because, you get down to 3-2 right there. There's not much. You can't walk the bases loaded here.
Gets ahead early with the strike 1.
Seems like you've got a lot of those guys on this team.
The 0-1 from Baca, swung on in the dirt for strike 2.
They're not so much guys that get angry at each other. They get angry at themselves, and it's their teammates that have to come in and kind of calm them down. But we've had the pleasure of having a couple of your pitchers up here in the booth, and it seems like the camaraderie with this team is just inseparable.
It really
0-2
is.
from Baca.
And it's tough in the summer to create a quick culture like that. And these guys, they latched onto each other quick, and we got we got 100% buy-in. So as you notice when we're working on the field, there's always about 10 to 15 guys out there getting the job done.
1-2 from Baca, swung on. The bat goes far into the backstop. Ball goes back the other way.
First thrown bat we've seen thus far this season. A little bit humid out there this afternoon.
Yeah, it is.
It just slipped out of his hands, but. Coach, compared to years past, this is a team that you've been involved with for a couple years now. And have you seen a kind of a relationship between the players like this? Is this common, uncommon? Because it seems like these guys have been together for longer than just a couple weeks.
Yeah, like these guys, like I said, they got tight. Last year's group was really tight as well. It's just we had to set our priorities straight. Some of these guys come out here to have a good time. Some come out to get better. So they just, we make them realize that this is the time to get better and go back to school a better ball player.
As Baca comes set for the 2-2. Missed for ball 2 on the last one. We'll see if he can settle back in here. Sets, fires, misses outside for ball 3. Another payoff pitch coming for Baca.
And, Coach, you talked about a couple new guys coming in. We see Connor Hammonds, who's been slowly but surely getting worked into the lineup, out onto the field here this afternoon. What's that kind of the
payoff from Baca. Swung on and missed for strike 3.
What's kind of the implementation process for a newer guy? I mean, you don't want to just throw him right to the wolves. Is it kind of what we've seen with Connor, give him an at-bat here, give him an at-bat there, and hopefully just try to work him in slowly but surely? Do you think some guys need that quick just introduction where they just get dumped into the fire quickly?
Well, a lot of these guys, I just see tape on them, and so I don't really know how they play, how their attitude is. He's a calm, cool, collected guy. The other night, his first night here, I gave him at bat just to see how he would react, and it's nice giving our other guys a break and knowing a guy can still get the job done behind him.
Baca in there for strike 1. Coach, I know we got a player come into tonight. Is he going to play tomorrow? Maybe even tonight. I mean, I don't know how fast Jack can get him over here from the airport, but the 0-1
Have you ever
misses for
picked
ball
anybody
1.
up from the airport in Pier?
Jack's picking him up tonight.
Well, if he lands at the top of the third inning, he could be in by the bottom of the third.
Yeah. He's an infielder, so it'll be nice to give Gavin a break. He is Gavin battles out there, but he needs a break.
1-1 from Baca, just misses for ball 2.
Yeah, it seems like every night when we make the lineup cards, there's Gavin Frazier's name with 6 right next to it. He seems like one of those guys. Everybody seems like they've got leadership capabilities, but Gavin Frazier seems like one of those guys who has always been that kind of upfront and outspoken leader for this team.
2-1 for 2-2 there for Baca.
Yeah, he's not a big vocal guy. He's a more do as I do type of thing, but he works hard. He battles every at bat. I mean, I don't know what his quality at bat percentage is, but it's got to be pretty high. I mean, he's a leader by just his actions.
That one sky high, out of play. Redo the 2-2. And he certainly has a lot of walks right now, so you got to be happy with some of his quality at bats that he takes.
Even that first at bat he had tonight, he battled and got a good piece and got on and ended up scoring there. So that's what's important. We've been leaving, like you said, leaving a lot of guys on.
2-2 chopped into play. Hammonds gets it. Baca covering, and he's there in time. Runner reaches, so a 2-out infield single for the Plainsmen.
Incredibly tough play for the first baseman to make there. But, Coach, this is a really interesting format for the ILB. Out of the playoff running for this first half, but this affords the opportunity for a team that's really kind of in the same position that you guys are in right now. You get going at the right time and have a blazing second half of the season. You find your way into the postseason. What's kind of your message to these guys? And before you answer that, there was a moment that we saw a couple weeks ago where
that one driven right to the second baseman, Caden Bazanski, for the 3rd out of the inning.
There was a moment, and hopefully you can stick with us. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
We'll
Somebody's
let you go
covering.
Here. Yeah, we'll
Somebody's
let you go here in a
covering,
couple minutes. But there was a moment down there where I believe it was Tristan Agadal was throwing a perfect game bid, and you got the entire team together in front of the dugout, and it looked like you really had an impassioned speech with them. And the next thing you know, you guys go out and you put 3 runs up on that guy. Is this a team that can really respond well to some leadership and just kind of, hey, let's get fired up, let's kind of get our heads out of our rear ends and get this thing going?
Yeah, I mean, I love getting guys that haven't really played that much in the spring because they come out here, they have something to prove. They fight, and a lot of them don't know how to deal with the adversity of playing in a game and being down. So that's been a big message for us, is just overcome the adversity, because as you've seen, we've been down and we hardly come back, So to come back at Casper, I think that proved that we can actually come back in a game. And my message out there was just, let's play 1 inning at a time, and we've kind of just stopped thinking about what to do, and we're playing 1 game at a time, not dealing with what we got ahead of us. So I know that's kind of cliche to say 1 game at a time, but in sports you kind of have to, especially baseball, you have to flush the day and not think too far ahead.
So, Coach, it feels like a lot of these games you guys have really been throwing those first punches. What kind of has flipped that switch in these guys where maybe they get down but they're kind of throwing some punches back and getting into these games again?
I think it's just the extra work we're putting in. A lot of guys are coming out 2-3 hours early before we have to report, and Coach Skelton is doing a great job working with some of these hitters, and I can't say enough about having that guy on the staff. It's been 3 years since I've had an assistant coach, and just to have somebody to bounce stuff off, a lineup, talking to a guy like, what do we do there? What do we want to do here? So that's huge for us.
And
Go ahead, Dylan. I'm sorry to interrupt.
And you have another coach on the staff who was a former player last year, and Coach Wiggins. What is that kind of like, having a guy who's played for the team in the past now in the coaching room?
It's great. These guys get the best of all the worlds. I mean, Wiggins is an ex-player that played here, just got done playing. Devin's an ex-player, ex-coach, still young and still in the game. And then you got me, who's the old guy who's been around forever. So bouncing all those ideas off everybody is nice. It's nice having Wiggins. He had so much fun here last year in Pierre that he had to come back as a coach. So he wants to get into coaching now. He said he kind of revived his love for the game last summer.
Love to hear that, as that one misses off the plate for ball 2. And, that is good, a good message for all of those folks out there. I'm sure there might be some players that are tuned in or think about joining the ILB. What do you think some of the big benefits are?
That one skips in for ball 3 to Cadena.
Other than just staying sharp and being able to play ball over the summer.
I mean, I think the greatest thing about this league, you get every level. You get D1 guys, you get JC guys. I know the Plainsmen got a guy that I coached against last year in high school that's going to college. So every level, and I think you get so many games, and it kind of gives you a good feel of what you have in store if you're looking to play minor league ball or independent ball. You're on the road, you get to travel, you're playing ball. And one of our big messages is just It's school. All you got to concentrate on is school. Here all you got to do is play ball and work on time management and the mental aspect of the game.
Kadena watches a couple of strikes. Count runs full. We'll see Coach Wiggins' third base debut out in this inning, too, as the payoff pitch slapped down the third base line across the diamond, pulls him off the bag. They make the tag. We haven't gotten the call, and there it is, the signal out. Kadena tried to chug along there, but unable to. So he gets a high five from the first base coach tonight, Cole Uttersberg.
Oh, yeah. Cole's over there now. Good player. He's a returner as well, man. He's a great kid, Cole.
Yeah, we hope that he can kind of shake some of these injury bugs that he's been dealing with and get back out on the field. We even saw him on the mound a couple weeks ago and pitching pretty decent, which I think that's the last place you wanted to see him out on the bump unless you're winning by 9 runs. But, Coach, we've seen a lot of very aggressive base running.
That one misses outside to Phillips for ball 1.
We've seen a lot of very aggressive base running out of guys like Nick Golden, Gavin Frazier. What goes through your mind when they just blow right through a stop sign over there at third?
I hope they're safe. Jake Daly the other night against the Spuds ran into the catcher and dropped the ball, and he ran through it and kind of dropped a word you can't say on the air as he ran through the stop sign. But we try to be aggressive. We hate double plays as a team. That's a huge momentum killer after you get the guy on. So we try to be as aggressive as possible, especially with this guy up the plate. This guy, Philly's got some crazy wheels.
Philly behind in the count 1-2.
He's Felipe up at the plate because Philly hasn't been hitting, he said. So
okay,
he's
all right,
Felipe.
so he changed it up.
Yeah.
The 1-2 to Felipe bounces in for ball 2.
Well,
he's got engaged too, so
yeah.
Well, it's all about superstition. We heard Vince Polizzi change up his walk-up song, and now he's just belted 2 grand slams in a couple times. So, are there any things that these guys do that you see that are kind of major league-esque to you, where you go back and maybe they've got what are those? Dolls in the dugout like we saw with Charlie Sheed and those guys in Major League 2, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm liking that, the grounding routine. Now if you come about 1:30 or so, you'll see 5 or 6 guys laying out in the grass now, and everybody, some guys wear the same socks, and so baseball's a crazy superstitious game, but
Andrew Phillips goes down swinging for the second out of the inning.
As Coach Wiggins says, he's not superstitious. He's a lot stitious.
Okay, yeah. He's a lot of stitious. Yes. And I think that just kind of speaks to the buy-in that these guys have. They're not afraid to look maybe a little bit off the cuff or a little bit goofy doing it with each other. You are not only head coach, but you're co-owner. Mm-hmm. Does your other co-owner ever try to give you any baseball insight or any tips? And for those that don't know, the other co-owner just happens to be Bob Habiger, Jamie's father.
Yeah, so, he's been pretty much giving me tips my whole life. So
so it's old hat to you.
Yeah, it is. He's just as competitive or more competitive than I am, so he's probably sitting over here in the stands biting his nails, wondering what we're going to do next for the pitching rotation. But
0-1 turns 0-2 to Curiel.
Just like to get a couple runs here in the next couple innings so we can, if that rain comes in or something, we can walk out of here with a victory.
He probably doesn't like the fact that you're up here talking to us. He's thinking you should be in the dugout coaching those boys.
As Curiel, a soft grounder, running it out, not there in time. Curiel goes down for the third out of the inning. The Plainsmen hold a 3-2 lead over the Oahe Zap heading to the top of the third.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time and letting you just come up and spend a couple minutes with us. We can't wait for tomorrow, Special Olympics night here for the Pure Wildcats. And, I know that's something that you're really passionate about. It's going to be great to see the turnout, but great to see a couple more Wildcat athletes than just about the 8 or 9 that are always here night in, night out.
Yeah, they're our fan base, man. We love them, and it's going to be a fun game tomorrow. I just want to give a shout-out to Devin Skelton's mom, Sakajuia, and hopefully we get a couple runs here.
Absolutely.
I'll ask the question right before you leave, Coach, that everyone's got to be wondering. You going to be in the dunk tank tomorrow?
It depends. I like to be locked in, like I said. But, like I always tell the guys, there's no phones. As soon as you walk through those, the gates, it's team time. So
that could be Coach Wiggins' job.
Yeah, they're probably going to give me a lot of crap for being up here and not locked in the dugout, but we'll come back and get them right here. I have faith in these guys tonight. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks so much,
Coach.
Thank you. That was Coach of the Oahe Zap, Jamie Habiger. Kind enough to spend a lot more time than I think he expected up here in the booth. So much so as the bolt race is on, and look, nobody's beating the bolt with that kind of speed.
My gosh, Jack! That's terrible.
Congratulations to that guy who just blew the doors off of the bolt.
He needed to give him a head start.
Yeah, that's right.
The Bolt, what are we doing?
I don't know. We're going to have to talk with him about that.
That is an awful showing.
That was about as bad as it gets. We can talk like that because he is one of the interns of this crew.
We're picking too fast to runners if he's losing that bad.
But a big thanks to Jamie Habiger, who was kind enough to join us there. Did he say anything that piqued your interest about what we were looking for and kind of what we've seen out of this team? I was really, really glad to hear him kind of talk and reinforce what we had been saying on the broadcasts about this team is good about getting up off the mat. These games have been tough, but we feel like we've hit that stride and we're breaking through at the right time.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's enough hours on the broadcast for how long I could probably talk to Coach Habiger and kind of pick his brain about baseball.
Absolutely. That was a lot of fun to have him up here. Big thanks to him for joining us as Esteban Baca back out on the mound, and he starts off Christopher Ortega with a breaking ball that swung on and missed. The 0-1 is now shot down the third baseline, foul, and it gets the left thumb of the third base coach for the Plainsmen. That one's going to sting. And not only did the Bolt go down, but he went down to the contestant who's rocking some jeans today.
He's like even hobbling around afterwards.
He might have pulled a muscle doing that. I wouldn't be surprised. Here's the 0-2 just off the plate for ball one.
I thought I was going to pull something running my foul pole the other night.
And you didn't even have a Bolt chasing him.
Yeah, I didn't have someone's footsteps loudly behind me.
The 1-2 from Baca. Swung on and missed for strike three. So a good comeback there from Esteban Baca. Plainsmen lead 3-2 here in the top of the third inning. After the 3-run shot in the top of the second, Zap took 2 in the first. Haven't been able to answer back yet, but the ball game's still very early. As this will bring up Brian O'Connell, today's catcher for the Plainsmen. Nobody on, 1 out, and he drives one into shallow right center. Underneath it is Golden. He calls everybody off, and he's quickly got the second out of the inning. Esteban Baca working very efficiently here in the top of the third.
Yeah, a nice play there for Baca to kind of settle back in and roll out the rest of this game. That was a bad showing, Jack.
We've got Jack in the booth here after his beat the Bolt run where he got dusted by that fan. That one misses off the plate for ball one. He's still breathing heavy. See if Baca can get the quick top of the third here, get his bats up back to the plate, try to regain the lead. This one off the plate for ball number 2.
He's embarrassed too, man. He was feeling bad after that one.
This one lifted high down the first baseline, trailing off into foul ground. Hammond's looking up into the sky, diving and not able to make the play. That is an uncomfortable play there for Connor Hammonds, who goes tumbling across the home plate dirt of that Zap bullpen. It was an A for effort, but the ball just trailing a little bit too far out in front of him. And getting that pant leg a little bit dirty for Dylan to be able to clean up tonight.
And I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not sure if our detergent's going to get that out.
And might have to use a little something called elbow grease. 2-1 here to O'Connell. So that's Jake Steffes, rather, at the plate here. O'Connell was just retired on that first pitch. Count runs 3-1. He misses it off the plate. Baca delivers. And that one is lined into left field. Backpedaling is Curiel. Going to watch that one bounce off the wall. Rounding's first and heading for second is Steffes. Throw in, not in time. And another double for the Plainsmen. It's kind of been all or nothing for Plainsmen here today. Their only couple of hits have been a couple doubles, a 3-run home run. Everything else, Esteban Baca has been lights out against him.
And he had those 3 strikeouts in the first, and they've just been kind of getting to him in some of these counts where he's been getting behind him.
So now Baca in a little bit of a jam here with 2 outs, and he starts off Ivan Gomez with a strike on the bottom half of the strike zone.
And Gomez, a guy that I was hearing Jeff Adele saying he wanted on our team. He said that'd be a fun one to get to pronounce every day.
The The 0-1 is lifted into right center field. Nick Golden camps underneath it, and he's got it for the third out. So Esteban Baca gives up a double with 2 outs, but he leaves him stranded right there. Zap still trailing 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the third here at Hyde Stadium.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around? Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend. No joke. One quick text or social media peek can cause a crash. And hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be. And trust me, I'll enjoy the downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes. Pay by the round. Save with a punch card or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel, Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
3-2 Zap trail here in the bottom of the third inning on an overcast night at Hyde Stadium. No rain in the forecast for right now. Sure looks like it. As Gavin Frazier, the top of this lineup, steps back in, trying to get back into this lead, and the first pitch from Matthew Arai is swung on and missed for strike 1.
And it sure looks like we might have some rain in our future here tonight.
Is that the case? Did you check out the forecast?
I think 9 or 10 o'clock could happen.
Is off the plate for ball 1. Well, I sure wish I knew that before I told the viewers. No rain coming.
I think there's certainly a chance later in this ball game.
Here's the 1-1 to Frazier. That one misses low for ball 2.
But this crazy technology now, I'm going to look up the radar, see what we can get.
Well, that'll certainly leave the hands full of our groundskeeping staff that is also the entire infield as Gavin Frazier swings and misses for strike 2, count even at 2-2. And as we look down at the field, everything looks great except for the third baseline is a little bit wonky. And I can't imagine that the normal field crew and chalk team, as that one swung on and missed for Gavin Frazier, who's just trying to swing and contact it to stay alive, couldn't do it. But I can't imagine that was done by Hudson Ivey. Hudson Ivey's normally straight as an arrow when it comes to that chalk line.
He must have left for his brother's wedding already.
Is that right? Is he out of town? So it wasn't Hudson Ivey. We can take him off the hook for that. Hudson, very grounded human being, is he doesn't even need that little line. He just kind of does it off of memory. As this one is ripped up the middle for a base hit. Nick Golden continues his hot bat as he smokes that one through the middle infield. And now the Zap have a runner on first, and Connor Hammond's coming up to the plate.
Talk about Nick Golden, man. He has just been coming alive here lately. 340 batting average coming into the night. He played for the Bison last year, coming over to the Zap this season, and he is really starting to light things up for this team.
Can't tell if that's Nick Golden or Ty Farwell in that left-handed batter's box. Both of those guys have been ripping the cover off the baseball. Farwell getting the night off tonight, as is Vince Palizzi. And we'll see if Connor Hammonds can register his first hit as a Zap, and that one almost hits him in the back of the helmet. But he stands there like a statue and takes ball 1. Not even the clouds could obstruct that gorgeous view of the rolling hills on the other side of the Missouri River over in Fort Pierre. Perfect backdrop here at Hyde Stadium. Off and running is Golden. That one bounces over the head of the catcher, Brian O'Connell. We'll see if Golden tries to take third. He'll stay put at second. But now a runner in scoring position for Connor Hammonds, who's already gotten 2 RBIs, but both have come with sac flies. He's still hitless in the hit column, but he's gotten contact when it matters. That walk-off hit for him came in a 13-3 run rule win over the Casper Spuds. And now Hammonds misses that one. That will also skip away from O'Connell. So now Nick Golden will casually stroll to third base, and he's 90 feet away from tying up this ball game.
Be big to be able to manufacture that tying run as we see Coach Habiger back out as the third base coach.
And it would only be fitting that Connor Hammonds drills this one into center field. It gets caught, and Nick Golden tags up and comes home on the sac fly. We'll see if that's the way it goes. The count is 2-1 to Connor Hammonds, only 1 out. The pitch from Arai is bounced in there. Great stop from Brian O'Connell.
It was looking like Nick Golden might just run in on that one.
How do you pronounce your... And we just got word from some of the Plainsmen baseball players that are enjoying some of the... couple guys at the concession stand enjoying some good snacks as Connor Hammonds mentions it's actually Array, not Arai. So we were led awry by saying Arai. It's actually Array. So we're glad that we were able to get that sorted out. Kind of missing the Spearfish Sasquatch being in town, having all the pronunciations, all the fun facts, all the interesting tidbits about their team.
What a great set of game notes.
If there's one thing that Spearfish does right, they give us a mean set of game notes. As this one's down and away for ball 1 to...
It's not the beautiful hills or even Qdoba in their town that I really liked the most about Spearfish. It was the game notes.
We even had favorite snacks for players in those. The 1-0 to Gledhill. He takes ball 2. Runners on first and third. Just 1 out here in a 1-run ball game. Garen Gledhill has got a knack for getting a big hit in a big position. And he takes ball 2. That's going to bounce away from O'Connell. Here comes Golden. He's going to score standing. And we're tied at 3. So heads up base running, and that one kind of unfortunate for Brian O'Connell. Went through the wickets, bounced off the umpire, and kind of scuttled away from him over towards the Zap on deck circle. But Nick Golden with heads up. Awareness there, able to scamper home. 3-0 count here to Garen Gledhill. We'll see if he gets the green light. Deep breath from Array. In there for ball 4. So Garen draws a 4-pitch walk. They've got runners at first and second with 1 out. Things in motion here for the Oahe Zap.
And Nick Golden moved along every base on a wild pitch. That guy's just always itching to run.
He sure is, and we see that almost to a fault with him. He runs into some outs every now and then. He runs into some plays that should be outs, but he gets away with them. But we heard Jamie Habiger say, double plays kill momentum. They're your biggest enemy. And you know what kind of kills double plays is stealing bases, getting out of those force-out situations.
And I'm sure the Zap would take a wild pitch here. You don't have exactly the fastest runners on right now. Not to knock any of our guys, but Garen Gledhill's returning from an injury, and Aiden Johnson himself would probably tell you he's not the fastest guy on our team.
Coming up to the plate is Aiden Johnson. And maybe Aiden could put a swing on one where these guys don't even have to run fast. We know he's got light tower power. Johnson with a couple taps on the plate. Runners at first and second, 1 out, all tied up at 3. Here in the bottom of the third, and another pitch down low. That's going to skip off the shin plate of Brian O'Connell and on his way to third standing. Nick Golden, or excuse me, Connor Garen Gledhill stayed put at first as Johnson takes ball 2 up and in. Johnson not wanting to, Gledhill not wanting to test the arm of Brian O'Connell back behind the plate. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That misses just high. It's quickly 3 though.
I don't think we're going to see a swing coming here.
Well, we talked about it a lot. Patient at-bats have worked for the Zap, and we've seen a couple here in this inning. And he takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Good pitch there from Array. Still waiting for one of those foul balls to come our way. Here's the 3-1. He had to drop his bat so it didn't clank off of it and cause a foul ball, but he takes the 5-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded for Caden Bazanski. And Caden Bazanski has gotten some tough breaks this season. He's due for a big hit. What a great opportunity this is for Caden. Try to drive in a couple runs with the bases loaded and only 1 out.
Yeah, and it was a really promising day from him yesterday. He came in, played a half game, went 2 for 2, and that's what you're talking about when you kind of rotate in some of these guys, let them get some more plate appearances.
Bazanski will take ball 1 high and away. The Plainsmen outfield shading Bazanski over towards right center. He's got all kinds of room down that left field line. This one misses down and away for ball 2. And I think Bazanski would be more than happy to just accept his RBI via walk here and give way to Noah Cadena, who's also been swinging a mightily hot bat lately. 2-0 to Bazanski. Make it 3-0 to Bazanski. Isn't that an amazing stat that Casper beat this team 19 times out of 20 tries last year, and you've already doubled that win total in just 1 series alone? As that is another 4-pitch walk. Caden Bazanski will toss the bat, head down to first, and the Zapper back out in front. It's 4-3, and the bases are still loaded with the white-hot Noah Cadena coming up to the plate.
I mean, he had a 3-hit night a couple days ago, and it'd sure be big for his confidence if he could match a couple of RBIs here.
1 base hit could blow this game wide open. First pitch to Cadena falls in there for a strike. A beautiful pitch from Matthew Array.
Maybe even a homer. Said he was looking to hit his 4th career homer this year.
What bigger time than right now? Takes ball 1 down and in.
We'd hope it'd be a better result than the last time he hit a home run against LSU Shreveport in a 42-4 ball game.
I still don't believe you that was the score. There's just no way that they could let a ball game go on that long. Here's the 1-1. That one chopped up the middle. Will it get through? It sure will. Between 2 sliding middle infielders, 1 run will score on his way to home, and throwing into third and sliding safely is Caden Bazanski. And talk about a big hit for Noah Cadena. He scores 2 and gets his way to second. And the Zap leads 6-3. Shades of last night. The Plainsmen get out in front early, but the Zap answer with a big base hit from Noah Cadena, and that might be the end of the line for Matthew Array.
Yeah, and that one just squeaked through the infield. And I mean, also going deja vu to last night, every time a coach leaves this broadcast booth, this team gets hot.
That's right. We were pretty amazed to see the flip of the switch once the Zap dugout saw Steve Steele in attendance. You can't really see in our broadcast booth, but they saw him back in the stands, and they started hitting for him. And we've got a new pitcher coming onto the mound here for Plainsmen after Matthew Array will have his day finished. Get our first look here. Harrison Aquaro. Aquaro, a right-hander, pretty thick build, and a pretty nonchalant delivery out of Aquaro. Looks like he's just kind of playing catch out there on the mound, but he can get some heat behind that fastball.
And a pretty nice head of hair, I gotta say.
Yeah, that's one thing Plainsmen does well. They sure got some lettuce over there coming out of the ball caps.
Wish I could grow some hair like that.
Zap leading 6-3 here in the bottom of the third inning. They scored 2 in the first. They've scored 4 here in the third. Plainsmen with 3 in the top of the second. And talk about that race to 7. They can sure add a couple more here with runners on second and third, and still only 1 out. This has been a long inning for Plainsmen.
So we got a bird landing out in the outfield trying to check on some of these spots, see if he can get some food.
Well, why don't you come over this way where all the concession stands are, as Andrew Phillips will come in. We're towards the bottom of the lineup. 8 and 9 due up here. Emiliano Curiel in the on-deck circle. Andrew Phillips kind of fools you with his speed when you look at his build. He doesn't look like he'd be the fastest guy, but he's sure got some wheels on him. And the first pitch from Aguero is inside for ball 1.
That's why it was very impressive for Mitchell yesterday, throwing him out at second for the first time this year. He hadn't been caught yet.
It was a perfect throw from Easton Mitchell. And Phillips is ahead in the count 1-0. That one misses high for ball 2. Easton Mitchell getting the day off today. He is catching bullpens for the Plainsmen. Breeze picking up, now moving, kind of shifting towards the right field corner as Phillips swings and misses at strike 1, catches a piece, but it doesn't matter. Tell you look through this entire lineup and you can really say, wow, his bat has really been heating up lately, but it's true. Especially with a couple guys that aren't playing today, and Ty Farwell and Vince Palizzi. Here's the 2-1 to Phillips. That one skied up into foul territory, giving chase is O'Connell, sliding on 2 knees and making an outstanding grab as the Plainsman catcher, Brian O'Connell. You know, you watch soccer, you see guys after they score a goal drop down to 2 knees and slide across the turf. That's what O'Connell did, but he was looking up into the sky, not for celebration, but to make an outstanding play. That'll be the second out of the inning, and it's up to Emiliano Curiel to drive in those 2 runs standing on second and third.
And it's the Zap lineup's starting to kind of feel like some of those other teams we've seen coming into town where there's really not somewhere to hide against them in this lineup, as kind of your 7, 8, 9 is really starting to heat up a lot.
No easy outs when you face the Zap right now. First pitch to Curiel is lined, and that's going to get through the first baseman, Jake Steffes. That'll score 2 runs. A huge hit from a red-hot bat in Emiliano Curiel, and the Zap lead 8-3 here in the bottom of the third. Curiel slapping it back the other way past a diving Jake Steffes. And just when the Plainsmen thought they were going to get out of the inning after a wonderful play from catcher Brian O'Connell, the Zap again have another answer, and the bats stay hot.
Really, we got to get a coach in the broadcast booth every day just to leave and get the offense started.
Well, luckily tomorrow we'll have Special Olympics Pure Wildcats coach Carla Miles continuing our trend.
That was going to be my exact next point. Is I'm sure I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. I think more than any of some of our other games of the year. Some of our biggest fans are the Pure Wildcats, and a chance for us to show our thanks to them.
1-0, and a bunt is put on by Gavin Frazier with 2 outs, and he just barely steers it foul. No matter how wobbly that third base line is, that was going to be foul anyway.
Unless it got about halfway where it opens up a bit more.
I wonder if Hudson Ivey is at home watching the broadcast and just can't keep his eyes off that third base line. He probably doesn't even know what the score is.
Probably all he's seen.
Pickoff attempt to first base is close. Half of the infield was making their way back to the dugout, but Emiliano Curiel back safely by just a half a step. A 1-1 pitch is off the plate for ball 2. Five hits and 8 runs for the Zap, and they haven't had a long ball. Here's the 2-1 to Gavin Frazier. Curiel off running, swing and a miss. Throw down is going to be in time. Looks like Curiel may have gotten underneath the tag, but a nice tag applied there by Dax Wandler, and the Plainsmen get out of the inning, but not before scoring 6 runs. Do the Zap. They lead 8-3 here after 3. We'll be back after this short break. You're listening to Zap Baseball on River 92.7.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around. Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend. No joke. One quick text or social media feed can cause a crash. And hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be. And trust me, I'll enjoy the downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes. Pay by the round. Save with a punch card or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Back here for the top of the 4th, and Esteban Baca back out on the mound as we get our jersey race again here tonight. And man, these kids sure do struggle with the belts, Justin.
Well, usually they have got somebody to put their belt on for them, so this is kind of unfamiliar territory.
It's like if we asked these kids to go out there and tie a tie.
Or like do a tax return or something.
So luckily those kids got a while away to have to worry about tax returns as Esteban Baca comes set for the 4th. That one misses high for ball 1.
Well, make sure you do them on time, kids. IRS don't mess around.
The debt collectors will find you.
That is true. You can't just move to South Dakota and try to evade them.
As the 2-0 there from Baca. IRS, if you're listening, I am not in the booth with Justin Cowart tonight. He's somewhere else. The 2-0 from Baca in there for strike 1.
Yes, this is Dustin Howard reporting live from Hyde Stadium with you.
As Baca got back in this count with a strike. We'll see if he can do it again. Sets and deals. That one fouled off, and the count evened up now at 2 apiece. Zap, they started off well. They had 2 runs on some excellent base running in the bottom of the 1st before falling behind 3-0 on a home run as Baca 2-2. That one in there for ball 3. We'll have another payoff pitch from Baca. But Plainsmen jumped out to a 3-2 lead before the Zap answering with a 6-run frame in the bottom of the 3rd. As the payoff from Baca skips in for ball 4 and a leadoff walk there for Dean Samuel.
Well, this is what's so big about the Zap offense scoring runs early is you can afford to make some mistakes as a pitching staff. Those leadoff walks, you've given up a 3-run homer tonight. You throw past balls and wild pitches and things of that nature and it not really come back to bite you because you've had that 6-run inning.
And I feel like any extra outs at this point is a bonus for Baca as that one misses for ball 1. always kind of felt like a bullpen day with him on the mound, but we heard from Coach Habiger that he was a guy who came in, started as a reliever trying to get his arm back as he checks on the runner at first. Can't get him. But might go a bit deeper. There is an arm warming up. I believe that's Brady Glenn in the Zap bullpen right now getting loose. We'll see if Baca can get out of the fourth. That one misses off the plate for ball 2. Good play from Cadena, lunging and keeping that one in the glove.
Well, Glenn's another guy that we've seen have some pretty solid outings here for the Zap.
Another guy who can go deep, as that one misses for ball 3. Saw him go 3 innings in that opening day win versus Fremont. And he's had some very impressive pitching performances in front of this home crowd this season. Another fan favorite back again, as that one in there for strike 1. As Baca finally gets back in the zone. As Brady Glenn gets loose, might take the first baton exchange of the night, as that one chopped to Gavin Frazier, to second to Bazanski, over to first, not in time. They get the lead runner, but
Would have been a tough
Gomez
double.
just too fast.
Would have been a tough double play to make regardless, but getting the lead runner always so important, and it keeps the double play in order.
Yeah, if you had to pick between the two, you'd certainly take the lead.
You see Braden Boyle, a double play candidate.
As Estevan Baca looking for another ground ball here to maybe make it out of the inning. That was Amari Hackett who reached. He was the one who did the damage with that homer earlier. So he continues his day with the fielder's choice. Nobody away, the 0-0. Swung on, driven to left. Emiliano Curiel charging and making the play for the second out of the inning. He fires back to first, and the throw pulls Hammonds off the bag. I'm not sure if Hackett thought that one was getting down, but was almost caught in a dangerous situation there.
It sure looked like Hackett thought that one was going to drop in, but I don't think he realized the speed that we have in left field in Emiliano Curiel.
Might have saw him get thrown out to end that inning and got a bit overconfident, but Emiliano Curiel, a fast runner, and he has made some spectacular plays out in left. Maybe didn't get the jump he wanted on that last stolen bag as they check on the runner back in time. And Amari Hackett is just living on the edge right now.
Yeah, and if, you give Amari Hackett a lot of credit for thinking on that fly ball all in one thought. Well, I saw him get thrown out.
Open, he caught in the middle here. Hammond's chasing him down. The throw to Frazier, the tag there. Hackett was living on the edge, and the Zap catch him. Estevan Baca giving a nice celebration as we head to the bottom of the fourth. The Zap lead 8-3.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Back here for the bottom of the fourth, and we have a water balloon toss, and I think we're going to have to put an asterisk on that win. coaching staff working with maybe one of the smallest water balloons I've ever seen. I'm not sure with a pair of scissors you can get that one to pop.
Are we in a drought? Why are the water balloons so
that
small?
That one doesn't have any water in it. It
They're
looks
the
like
size of ping pong balls.
they're throwing around quarter-sized water balloons out there. And
I've seen hail bigger here in South Dakota.
They've dropped it multiple times, and it still has not broken. That is just funny there, as they gave the kids the big water balloons that would pop on them and get them wet, but the coaching staff may be making a career move there, as Gavin Frazier watched that one outside for ball 1. Zap trying to keep the hot bats rolling, as that one in there for ball 2.
And Gavin Frazier still at the plate after Curry Hill was thrown out at second. Always interesting. I always used to love that as a hitter. You know, you're at the plate, you're feeling good, you're excited to hit, and then you get punched out of the inning because somebody gets tagged out on the base pads.
2-0 to Frazier in there for strike 1.
But you still get to go up and hit that following inning.
As Frazier trying to keep his good stretch going, the 2-1 to him. Off speed catches the plate for strike 2. As Frazier, he got home in the first on a wild pitch. He is not afraid to run 2-2. That one misses high and inside for ball 3.
Hey, good for the Zap getting this lead as we take a quick peek at the radar. Maybe a little bit of precipitation headed our way in the next hour or so.
Payoff pitch. Frazier puts a bat on it. Hackett trying to settle under it. Falls out of the glove, and Gavin Frazier going to reach second base standing. Hackett looked like he was going to make the routine play. He kind of jumped for it, and that's what happens when you put a ball in play. Gavin Frazier kind of putting a stay-alive swing on it, kind of stepped out of the box and pushed it the other way, and is rewarded with a double with an error.
Yeah, and like you said, good things happen when you put the ball in play. No matter where it is, you just really never know what can happen with some of these fielders. Any fielder at any level.
Talk about the highs and lows of baseball. Hackett hit that 3-run shot, and then play there giving Frazier 2 free bags as Nick Golden coming to the plate. Watches strike 1, and a lot of red-hot bats in this Zap lineup, but Nick Golden, maybe one of the hotter ones, going to be batting north of 350 after his start here today. Really came together in this outfield as the 0-1 off the plate for ball 1. Golden, such a fierce competitor. I think Coach Habiger might need to invest in a real stop sign like the ones that maybe the crosswalk street people use for school zones. As the 1-1, they catch Frazier and run down, but the ball's going to get away. Gavin Frazier's speed just creating havoc. He was jumping around at second, and it looked like they were going to have him in the rundown, but it couldn't stay in the glove of the shortstop, Dax Wandler.
Well, a tough play for Wandler to make just because the throw came to him. It was kind of got him in between.
Yeah.
It was a little low, a little bit high. He tried to underhand it, and it caught him right off the wrist.
As that one in there for ball 2 to Golden, and Wandler was kind of shuffling around himself with Gavin Frazier, and he never got to go back to the bag to kind of cover, and that's where you kind of saw him get caught up in between, and Frazier creating some more havoc. He is truly lightning in a bottle as the 2-1 from Golden slashed foul over that third base line. A couple of kids playing out in the grass over there. They don't even realize there's a free slushie and a trading card waiting for them.
I'll be right back.
As it looks like their little brother maybe getting to it before they even realize they're over there wrestling, and they could have just had a free trading card as Golden swings on that one in the dirt. He's going to try to beat it out at first base, unable to, as he goes down for the first out of the inning. Gavin Frazier giving Coach Habiger and that third baseman over there a bit of a sly smile. I'm sure they were wondering if he was going to go on that ball in the dirt.
Well, with only one out, Connor Hammond's coming up in the exact opportunity he's found himself in all season, the short season that he's had, a chance to drive in another runner with another sacrifice fly.
And a lot like Ty Farwell, it feels like every time Hammonds has been at the plate, there's been some runners on in front of him. And when you got guys like Frazier and Golden ahead of you, that'll happen. And he gets his first hit of the season, of his Zap career and Zap season. He got robbed on an error the other night that was going to be a hard play to make. That's just how the scorebook happens sometimes, but no doubt about that one. Ripped into left field, and Connor Hammonds, an RBI that's not a sac fly.
Good for Connor Hammonds. He's been hitting the ball really well. He's just kind of gotten unfortunate with defenders being right there to make the play. How about the Zap today? 1 run away from making it 4 straight games with double digits, and they've scored 9 runs on just 6 hits.
Brings Garen Gledhill to the plate. The 0-0 to him. He rips down to the shortstop, and this one might be a double play. That one turned in time. Garen Gledhill recovering from an injury. That one was going to be a hard one for him to chug out. But the Zap get another insurance run. They lead 9-3, and we'll be right back here for the top of the 5th.
Thinking of travel, Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at united.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive, not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey Zap baseball fans, it's Justin Cowart. If you're interested in a podcast that's sports and only sports, you need to check out Players Perspective. I have athletes and coaches from the South Dakota area and across the country, from the high school all the way up to the professional level. Come on and tell stories of their biggest and best moments of their athletic careers. If it's sports, you bet we cover it on Players Perspective Podcast, sponsored by Avera. You can find it wherever you find podcasts by searching DRG Media Group or on drgnews.com. Now, back to myself and Dylan Beach in the broadcast booth for some more Zap baseball.
9-3 lead for the Zap. A lot of the same over these past 4 days. Zap offense absolutely on fire. They haven't gotten many hits, but they've scored a lot of runs off of them. 6 hits, 9 runs for the Zap. 6 hits, 3 runs for the Plainsmen. Zap got 2 in the first, 6 in the third, and 1 in the bottom of the fourth. We head to the top of the 5th with a new pitcher on the mound. It's left-hander Brady Glenn. We've seen a good bit of thus far this season. He's been great in relief. He just kind of comes on in housekeeping duty, make sure this lead stays where it's at. As we mentioned, maybe some rain moving through the area here in the next half hour to 60 minutes. And the Zap just trying to get through 5. If rain comes through and does end this game early, it would be official after 5 innings. The first pitch from Glenn is missed high for ball 1. And I think Jamie Habiger looking for some quick innings here from his pitching staff. Glenn, another guy that does not work out of the windup. He fires a fastball in there for strike 1.
We've got a Notre Dame football fan in attendance. I thought I was going to be able to escape those when I got out to South Dakota.
Another Pierre Wildcat athlete down there. As that one swung on and missed by Brady Alexander. Quickly 1-2. Some ominous-looking clouds hanging over top, and they look a little bit more ominous behind us. So we'll keep you updated on the weather as it progresses. Hoping for clear skies tomorrow for Pure Wildcat night. Here's the pitch to Alexander, and he smokes one to center. Looking up and watching it sail is Andrew Phillips, and Brady Alexander has left the yard. It's the 4th run of the ball game for the Plainsmen, all 4 of which are coming on the long ball. It's 9-4. Zap still out in front.
That was absolutely cranked. That's not what you want to see when you're entering a ball game as a pitcher.
And he sent it to dead straightaway center. So the Plainsmen get something to celebrate about. Good for those guys over there. They still trail by 5, but they're seeing the ball well. It's their 7th hit of the ball game, 4th run. And now a bunt, which rolls right back to Brady Glenn. He turns, he fires, and it is not in time as Dax Wandler, the speedy shortstop for the Plainsmen, legs it out. And so the Plainsmen got a little something going. Man, Dax set up Brady Glenn perfectly to make that play. Rolled it right up the little stretch of dirt that leads from the mound to the home plate area. So nobody out. Runner on first for the Plainsmen. Christopher Ortega steps in. See if Glenn can get a ground ball out of him. He watches ball 1 off the plate.
Some shocking breaking news in the NBA draft. Con Knipple going off the board before Ace Bailey.
I see a Cooper Flag jersey down there as the 1-0 pitch makes it 1-1. Good breaking ball from Brady Glenn. Cooper Flag, obviously, I didn't even see it, but I'm going to imagine that he went first overall.
Yep.
That one misses down and in for ball 2.
Flag, then Harper, then Edgecombe, and then Knipple to Charlotte.
Con Knipple, a Duke point guard. Nobody under 6'11", as that one's fouled back into the backstop by Ortega on that Duke National Championship losing roster. Congratulations to the Florida Gators for being crowned national champions this year.
No, that one had to have been hard for you, Justin. Maybe not a big rivalry there, but I mean, it's an SEC school.
Yeah, I think I was in kind of the majority of folks that wanted to see Duke go down.
Yeah, that's a pretty big majority about every year.
Maybe definitely one of the tallest lineups ever, or starting 5s ever assembled, is the pickoff attempt way late. Over there's Wanderers back there standing. Glenn leaning in. 2-2 count to Christopher Ortega. The pitch is smoked into left field. That's going to test the legs of Curiel. He turns, that one bounces off the base of the wall. Rounding third and heading for home is Wanderer. Ortega is going to be standing at second base. And Plainsmen with a big answer here at the top of the 5th inning. They've scored 2. They've made it a 4-run ball game. It's 9-5. They've still got nobody out and a runner on second base. And credit Plainsmen for handling the big inning and answering here at the top of the 5th.
And credit to Ortega. I mean, he had some trouble getting out of the batter's box. I didn't know if he was going to be able to make it to second base. He was tripping over the plate a little bit.
Not very fleet of foot as Christopher Ortega, but when you hit it that hard and that far, getting to second base is easy. That one misses high and away for Brian O'Connell. O'Connell made an outstanding sliding play in the bottom of the 4th inning for the second out. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one skied a mile high, but turning and heading foul. That'll bounce out into the street. Nice night here at the ballpark. I wouldn't say it's the nicest night we've had. We had a beauty last night. About 80 degrees, not a cloud in sight yesterday afternoon. Accentuated by a 12-4 Zap victory. This one ripped down the third baseline. He's just a bit in front of that one as it curls foul.
Feels like it's been hard to kind of pick out some of the bad nights. I mean, the rain delay, maybe the day there was 105 out, but we've had some really nice days here at the ballpark.
And, talking to some of those players on that 105 day, it felt like 108 according to the temperature. They said they really didn't feel it. It was a thin 105 degrees. A little bit stickier this afternoon. Here's the 1-2 to O'Connell. He rips that one up the middle past Gavin Frazier. They're going to test the legs. Ortega coming around third, heading for home, and a 3-run inning has made it a 3-run ball game here for Plainsmen. Quite the answer. So they've got 6 runs on 9 hits. The Zap have 9 runs on 6 hits. And Devin Skelton going to go have a chat with Brady Glenn.
Yeah, it has just not been the outing that he would like out of himself here. He looked so good the last time we saw him, got out of his inning with under 10 pitches, and just kind of been a struggle to produce some outs here today.
Yeah, been a bit of an uncharacteristic outing for Brady Glenn, a guy who's been so good in relief this season. But that's why it's so beneficial to have the bat swinging the way that you have been. That 6-run bottom of the third really coming in to help the Zap here. They still lead by 3. Long chat at the mound here between Brady Glenn, the entirety of the infield, and Devin Skelton, the assistant coach, who you heard Jamie Habiger speak so highly of. Can really take you a long way when you've got a good assistant coaching staff like we have with former Zap player Coach Wiggins and now Coach Skelton. Now Chris Dozart slowly making his way out to the mound to wrap up this meeting. Got an arm warming down in the bullpen for the Oahe Zap. Take a look and see if we can get that number.
These jerseys sure do make it hard.
I'm trying to think. They don't really have any jerseys that make it easy. The number's just a bit of a shade darker than the jersey itself that the Zap are wearing today, so the numbers really blend in. Brady Glenn gets back to work. First pitch catches the outside corner to Jake Steffes for strike 1.
Love a ball on the ground here if you were Glenn.
Double play would go a mile here for the Zap as that one catches the inside corner for strike 2. Maybe Brady Glenn benefiting from that meeting at the mound with Devin Skelton. He's ahead 0-2. Brooks Cartwright holding court with some young fans down there. I think they're trying to squeeze their way into the next mid-inning game. That one bounces, a good stop by Cadena.
And who wouldn't want to be in one of these inning games? They always seem like they have so much fun down there.
Well, there's no secret why the Zap players get involved all the time. They're fun games. This one grounded sharply to the third base side. Johnson to second for 1. Bazanski on his way to first. And right on cue, a double play helps Brady Glenn get deeper into this inning. That's the first and second out here in the top of the 5th. They couldn't come at a bigger time as the Plainsmen found a rhythm. They've scored 3 runs here.
Got the crystal ball back out.
No crack in that crystal ball for Dylan Beach.
I will say,
Simon Gomez will come up to the plate.
I will say the inning game that us interns took place out in Spearfish was not very much fun. So these kids should be thanking their lucky stars we don't have 4 mascot costumes for them to race around in.
First pitch to Gomez, skied up on the deepest part of the infield. Under it is Gavin Frazier and squeezing it for the 3rd out. But Plainsmen scored 3 runs. They cut into this deficit. Stapp still in front, 9-6 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Hyde Stadium.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around. Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend. No joke. One quick text or social media feed can cause a crash. And hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be. And trust me, I'll enjoy the downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes, pay by the round, save with a punch card, or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com, just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel, Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Aiden Johnson takes ball 1 on the outside corner here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Zap in front 9-6. As they look to try to add some more runs here, counterbalance that 3-run top of the 5th inning as Johnson takes ball 2 high. Seen a steady influx of fans over these past 3 days. That's what winning will do for a ball club. Aiden Johnson works the count to 3-0. And I expect a big old crowd tomorrow. Here's the 3-0 to Johnson. He takes strike 1. We saw our mid-inning game. It was Vince Palizzi, Alex Jackson, and Quinn Ludvigsen versus the Boys and Girls Club of the capital area. Zap won that one. Maybe a little bit of an unfair advantage. As this one's off the glove of the pitcher and legging out the base hit is Aiden Johnson. So a tough break for Aquero. He stuck his glove up there in the air, thought he had it on the bounce, and then he looked down. There was no ball in there. It would bounce behind him. So Caden Bazansky will come up to bat here, and now we've got a pinch runner, and that looks like Cole Ottersberg making his way out to first for Aiden Johnson.
And Aiden Johnson didn't want to let go of the bat on his way to first base. He made about halfway there before dropping it. Maybe scared it out of the pitcher's glove.
He's probably trying to swat some mosquitoes on his way down to first. So runner on first for Bazansky, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Zap trying to get out through this inning before the possible rainstorm moves through. Aquero comes set, quick delivery, and a bunt attempt is almost caught on the fly by Brian O'Connell. Well, that would have hurt, wouldn't it? He is still down. I don't know if he's just upset at how close he was to making that play. He's grasping at that right leg. And this is the last thing the Plainsmen need is another injury.
You already had your catcher take one run in, just about get him in the face last night, hit him on the throat, and I'm not sure how many catchers you have rostered on a 23-man team.
Well, they don't have enough to really run a bullpen catcher out there. We saw a guy in street clothes catching a session yesterday afternoon. Easton Mitchell still in the dugout. He is the guy who caught yesterday for Plainsmen. Now Brian O'Connell with a little stretch of that left leg, and now he's got the mask back on. Tell you what, Plainsman hasn't won a lot of games, but they sure win in the toughness category. Here's the 0-1 to Bazansky. In there for strike 2.
Still a young season for them, too, and the wins they have had have been impressive.
Well, you know, it's tough. They're kind of experiencing exactly what the Zap have experienced earlier on in this season. They get out in front early, and then the opposing offense just kind of goes to work. Here goes the runner, Cole Ottersberg. It was a pitch out, throw down to second. Not in time. It was close. And they had the right pitch to do it on. In an 0-2 count, they threw the pitch out, which is essentially just a fastball way out of the zone and up, allowing the catcher to get out of his stance and get into his throwing motion early. And I don't think Aiden Johnson was beating that one out, so luckily for the Zap, they pinch ran Cole Ottersberg, and he stands at second. Bazansky awaits the 1-2 pitch. Outside, ball 2.
I'm just still so impressed with Plainsmen taking 2 games off of Hastings. Won their last 2 out against them. You think Spearfish is going to send them a fruit basket after those couple of wins?
I think they definitely deserve it. Hastings, a great team, battling out for first base. Otterberg fakes the steal. A little golf swing there from Caden Bazansky as he pushes that one fouled on the left field line. Not really sure how Bazansky got a bat on that one. Looked like he was swinging a 9-iron. And he was trying to hit it out into center, well, he caught it off the hosel.
Definitely think Plainsmen will get a very warm welcome out in Spearfish when they head there from here if Spearfish hold on and take the first half.
Spearfish trying to punch their way into the postseason. And the Zap trying to set themselves up for a exciting second half of the season. We might have gotten a little ahead of ourselves with the South Dakota World Series. How fun would that be between those two teams? This one misses high to Bazansky. He works the count full.
Especially as both of these teams really get going. We saw once Spearfish got their complete team how hot they started rolling, and Zap's kind of been doing the same thing here lately.
3-2 pitch to Bazansky, swung on and missed for strike 3. So Cuero gets the first out of the inning via strikeout. And that'll bring up the red-hot Noah Cadino.
You'd love to knock Ottersberg in here with the inning Plainsman just had. Get some more insurance. I mean, 3 runs feels safe, but 4 would feel even better.
So Cadino will climb into the right-handed batter's box. Cole Ottersberg trying to take Cuero's attention away over there at second. They're going to try to pick him off. He's backsliding safely.
Got his attention.
You know, it was great talking with Jamie Habiger earlier on in the game. If you missed it, you can jump back into YouTube and listen to what he had to say. But, you know, very, very forthright about how good these offenses have been. As that one misses high for ball 1. How good these different lineups have been. But he singled out Ty Farwell. He said it really makes it hard to leave him out of the lineup. Just the way he's been hitting the ball lately. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Cadena. He takes strike 1 on the outside corner.
Yeah, and Farwell getting a very much-deserved day off. We'll see if it's a full day off or if he enters in for a half game, as I'm sure we'll see a flurry of substitutions after this inning.
Well, we also saw Vince Palizzi left out of the lineup today, as that one's chopped fouled on the third base line. And, you know, yes, it is much deserved for Ty Farwell, but much like Palizzi, I think Farwell would love to be in the lineup today. We talked to Palizzi. He was hanging out on the couch up here before the game. I said, so you hit 2 grand slams in 2 straight games, you get an RBI double, and you're left out of the lineup. This one's fouled back our way, just a bit high for the broadcast team to make the catch.
Hope that one didn't land in the grate, because if I'm going to have to explain to some kid that I can't get those down, I'm going to be, it's going to be a long week at the office.
It's not that you can't, it's that you won't.
It's pretty hard I think it'd be pretty hard for me to try it.
Here's the 1-2 coming to Cadena. Fouled off, stays alive. But Palizzi, you know, I asked him that question. He said, are you going down to the dugout? I said, I sure am. I got to go get lineups. He said, will you talk to Habiger and see if he can fit me in? So these guys, even when they get days off, they want to be out there playing with their teammates. And I don't blame them. It's been a fun couple days here for the Zap.
I'm sure we'll see him pinch hit at least tonight.
Let's do the 1-2 again, and now they might have him picked off at second. The throw over is just a bit late. Cole Ottersberg was halfway to third when Cuero saw him, stepped off, and casually delivered the throw to second baseman Ivan Gomez.
That was an impressive swim move there from Ottersberg to avoid that tag.
Got back just in the nick of time. Swing and a miss for Cadena in the dirt, and Cuero's got his second strikeout of the inning. So if they want some more insurance, it's going to come down to Andrew Phillips. Phillips and Cadena doing a little bit of scouting. Cuero, what pitches he's been throwing. Chris Dozark, a home plate umpire, getting a couple brand new pearly white baseballs.
Our home plate sure isn't pearly white anymore. It was very clean for a while, but it has taken a toll on this game.
Well, there's been 15 cleats that have stepped on that home plate. 9-6 lead here for the Zap. Zap trying to get to double digits for their 4th straight game, and Phillips will take strike 1 right over the middle of the plate.
This is one where momentum's starting to slip back towards Plainsmen. If you could get this run across with 2 outs and kind of pull it back on your side.
1 run would go a long way, but a Phillips swing and a miss will make the count 0-2. And we'll see if possibly a new pitcher on the mound for the Zap in the top of the 6th. Here's the 0-2 to Phillips. In the dirt, ball 1. Maybe even more impressive, we've only seen 1 hit batsman tonight for the Oahe Zap. Usually at this point in the game, we're up to 3 or 4.
I wouldn't be shocked if Andrew Phillips gets hit right here now.
Big swing and a miss. He goes down swinging. So Cuero with an outstanding inning of work. He gets 3 strikeouts, and the Zap leave Cole Ottersberg stranded at second. Zap still in front by 3. It's 6-9 as we head to the top of the 6th inning.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Top of the 6th as we get the Bracky Financial Money Toss, and another night that we just don't have a winner, man. It's starting to feel hopeless. I'm waiting for one lucky fan out there to give us some hope that this game can be won again.
That game is undefeated. We've seen some of the best tossers, too, try to compete and try to win that thing. And we've only seen 1 ball find its way into the bucket this season thus far, but it knocked the bucket over.
Yeah.
And that does not count. So if you're going to come and try to play this mid-inning game, just know you got to leave the bucket standing.
And we saw a player just about throw it in on the fly just now as Plainsmen comes into the game, and the first pitch he throws is popped sky high. Second baseman Caden Bazanski underneath it for the first out of the inning.
That's efficiency at its finest. 1 pitch, 1 out. Braxton Plainsmen's wanting to move this game along quickly.
Thrust into a bit of a higher important situation here. The last time we saw him, the game was kind of done and dusted. He closed out the 8th inning when the Zap walked it off on the Hammond sac fly in the next frame. As he's in there for strike 1, and the higher leverage not seeming to impact him as His mom still in the crowd, one of our most faithful supporters on this Zap season. Been a part of the traveling cheers section as the 0-1 turns 1-1 for Plymouth. As Braxton Plemons trying to settle in here, set him up for a couple of innings of work, maybe turn it over to the hold-save duo of Eikenberry and Cornett as that one runs inside for ball 2.
As I look across the infield, I see some jerseys you might be struggling with to get squeaky clean. You have a method?
2-1, that one was checked, but for a ball 3.
Do you have a soaking method that you will implement?
It's about, I put them in the washing machine, I throw the detergent in, put my quarters in, and sit and wait. 3-1, that one fouled off for strike 2. It's not really too much of a method.
No shout? You don't spray them with shout or anything like that?
Well, also learning this laundry machine game has kind of been like a big game of telephone. I know how to do laundry, but I don't know how our GM Alex Sheets taught Brooks Cartwright it on the first day. I got it pretty early on in the translation as the 3-2 chopped. Third baseman unable to make the grab. I believe that's Connor Goldberg at third base. That's the first time we've seen him there, as the ball's still yet to find a Zap glove, but the runner will stay there at first.
That was a nice hit there by Amari Hackett, squeezing it through that left side of the infield. That is pretty much a vacuum cleaner over there. We don't see many balls get through that side of the diamond against the Zap, but Hackett doing a nice job putting enough little oomph on that ground ball to get it through.
Goldberg making his third base debut as that one driven out to center. Phillips chasing, called off by Curiel, and he makes the second out of the inning. As the ball still, the Zap having some trouble on these relays back into the infield.
And for the Zap, you know, you've got to be careful here with this team. You get out in front 9-3, you felt like you were just cruising along, and often, you know, I'm not saying this has happened with this team, but you got to be careful of getting complacent and letting a ball club back into the game.
And if you can score 9 runs in a game, this other team certainly can, as that one driven to right once again, as Golden settling under it, makes the third out of the inning. So Braxton Plemons getting some help from the outfield. Zap still hold a 9-6 lead heading to the bottom of the 6th.
Thinking of travel, Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive, not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey Zap baseball fans, it's Justin Cowart. If you're interested in a podcast that's sports and only sports, you need to check out Players Perspective. I have athletes and coaches from the South Dakota area and across the country, from the high school all the way up to the professional level. Come on and tell stories of their biggest and best moments of their athletic careers. If it's sports, you bet we cover it on Players Perspective Podcast, sponsored by Avera. You can find it wherever you find podcasts by searching DRG Media Group or on drgnews.com. Now, back to myself and Dylan Beach in the broadcast booth for some more Zap Baseball.
Thank you again, as always, for that great intro back to some Zap Baseball as Emiliano Curiel watches strike 1.
I'm sure you're not tired of hearing that promo at this point.
I am one of the biggest followers of Players Perspective podcast, and another big fun episode coming up for any rodeo enjoyers as Emiliano Curiel fouls that one off. And you recorded that today. How'd it go?
Yeah, we had Ryan Shepik in the studio this morning. She's very natural as natural as she is on a horse, she's very natural behind the microphone as well.
Curiel behind 0-2. The delivery misses off the plate for ball one.
And a recurring guest, too, so big thanks to Ryan Shepik. I'm sure she's tuned into some Zap baseball right now.
I mean, who isn't?
Who isn't?
3-game win streak on the precipice of their 4th game, scoring 10 runs as that one gets away from Aquero for ball 2. Curiel trying to start a bit of a rally before turning the lineup over to Gavin Frazier. I already saw one substitution and Goldberg coming in at third as Curiel goes down swinging. Aggressive swing there from Curiel. He's been swinging it really nicely here lately, but was just a bit behind that one. It's Gavin Frazier to the plate. We hear so much of the superstitious aspect of baseball, and it feels like this Zap team is just constantly changing their walk-up songs. That's one of our biggest requests from the intern staff is, hey, I want a new walk-up song. As Frazier swings that one low for strike one. A lot of changes. Nick Golden, it seems, I think he's changed it every day this week. I think on his 3rd walk-up song of the 2nd week of the homestand, Frazier, the 0-1, in there for strike 2.
Been really impressed with Aquero coming in a tough spot. At the time he came in, they were trailing 9-3, and he's kept it right where it's been at.
0-2, just a bit high for ball 1. We've seen some impressive pitching performance from opposing pitchers when they come down or come into these games when they're down big and maybe thrown a bit looser than they typically would in a high-leverage situation as Frazier out in front of that one for strike 3.
He's been going back to that off-speed pitch that's been fooling the Zap hitters.
As Nick Golden comes to the plate to try to start a 2-out rally as Aquero really mowing down Zap players, already gone further than Ray as he just recorded his 6th strikeout of the ball game. That one chopped off the foot of Golden for foul ball, strike 1.
Yeah, you could tell Golden felt that one too as he hit that. Lifted his right foot up, stinging just a little bit.
Aquero, that was the 54th pitch of his outing, so maybe still in line for a bit more action. No movement in the bullpen yet. A couple of guys stretching. The 0-1 to Golden, slicing foul. The left fielder was shading so far to the right that he won't even make an attempt at it. His left, our right, but he was shading towards center field.
He's practically playing center field right now as far over as he is. If you drew a line from first through second base out to the outfield wall and left, he'd be on the center field side of that line. A lot of room to work with over there.
0-2 to Golden. Slap to the first baseman. The foot race. Golden loses. Steffes wins for the 3rd out of the inning. Zappa unable to add any insurance. They still lead 9-6.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around. Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend. No joke. One quick text or social media feed can cause a crash. And hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be. And trust me, I'll enjoy the downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes, pay by the round, save with a punch card, or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Top of the 7th inning as we wait for our umpires to take their scheduled bathroom break. Chris Dozark making his way back through the fans. Top of the 7th inning here at Hyde Stadium. Zap still out in front 9-6, but they're trying to stave off the momentum from the Plainsmen here, who have scored 3 runs in the top of the 5th to make it a 3-run ball game. Braxton Plemons still out on the mound for the Zap. The first hitter of this top of the 7th for the Plainsmen will be Dax Wandler.
And Plemons moved quickly last inning. You know who else should move quickly? All the fans to the ballpark for tomorrow night for Pierre Wildcats. Get down here.
Great plug. First pitch to Wandler is belted towards right field. Looking up into the sky, chasing towards the warning track, and watching it sail over the wall is Nick Golden. That is another home run for the Plainsmen, their 3rd of the game, and now it's a 2-run ball game. And as we just mentioned, momentum in the Plainsman corner. And they have answered in a mighty fashion. 4 runs unanswered for Plainsman. They've cut it to 2. And now a dangerous situation here for the Zap. They're still ahead 9-7, but nobody out. And the meat of the order coming up. Christopher Ortega, the designated hitter, will climb in for Plainsman. And the first pitch to Ortega in there for strike 1.
Now settle back in, calm your nerves here a little bit, and attack the batter if you're Plemons.
Man, you got to give great credit to Plainsman. So easy as that one runs inside for ball 1 to just roll over, especially after getting beat 12-4 yesterday. Just say, throw your hands up and say this one's out of reach as Ortega puts a charge into 1, but this one's not leaving the ballpark. Golden charging in, calling off Bazanski, squeezes it for the first out.
Back to your regularly scheduled program from Plemons. I mean, it feels like all of his outs the last inning were pop flies to the outfield.
Well, he's only thrown a couple pitches, but he's already faced 2 batters. He gave up the home run to Wandler, and now the fly out to Ortega. That'll bring up Brian O'Connell. O'Connell's muddied up his pants today, diving around the infield and also having a great game behind the plate. Plemons misses for ball 1 down and away. Those clouds still hanging over top. The radar says it's raining in Pierre right now, so it must be a downpour over near my house as Plemons misses inside, wants to know with Chris Dozark, the home plate umpire, where it missed.
Certainly some clouds off on the horizon that I'm a bit concerned about.
High pitch swung on and popped up towards the left side of the infield. Gavin Frazier calling off his third baseman and making the second out of the inning. The way that ball came off the bat, it might have cracked the bat a little bit. Sure sounded like it did some damage. And now Ivan Gomez kind of taking a peek at it. He's looking at it down the line to see if there's a break in it. He's going to hold on to that bat.
Things ain't cheap.
Jake Steffes. No, they are not. As Plemons fires strike 1 to Steffes. I had a buddy when we played in a wood bat league back when I was like 12 years old. I didn't get a wooden bat. My parents wouldn't buy me one. I think they knew I was going to break it. Because that one misses down and away. Cadena trying to frame it. And so my buddy Jeff let me borrow his and practice one day, and he just kept insisting, do not break this bat. Do not break it. Second swing, the thing was in 2 pieces.
I thought I knew where that story was headed.
That one's in there for strike 2. Good frame job by Cudina, gets the job done, and now Plemmons 1 out away from getting out of a one-run inning here.
Let me guess, you and Jeff aren't exactly on talking terms anymore.
Well, I got invited to his wedding.
Good recovery, at least.
That one's high and away. No, it happened long ago enough where he broke a couple of my things, and, well, it kind of evened itself out. The 2-2 pitch with 2 outs is swung on and missed, and another quick inning from Braxton Plemmons gets the Zap bats back up, but a Dax Wandeler home run gets the Plainsmen within 2. It's 9-7. Zap still lead as it's time to stretch here at Hyde Stadium. Zap! Take me out to the ball game. A wonderful tradition here at Hyde Stadium and at ballparks across the country. The 7th inning stretch as we see Aquero back on the mound for Plainsmen. They've got an arm up in the bullpen working, but if you're the Zap right now, I don't know if their plan is to just try to hang on, white-knuckle this thing for dear life and get out of here with a win, but I think they would love to add some insurance, and it'll be Connor Hammonds leading things off for the Zap with an opportunity to do just that. We saw Connor Hammonds register his first ever hit as an Oahe Zap player. That brought in Gavin Frazier. That was the last time the Zap scored. That all happened in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 runs in the bottom of the 1st for the Zap, got them out in front. Plainsman jumped back in front with a 3-run home run to take the lead. And then Zap with a big inning in the bottom of the 3rd. They scored 6. They followed that up with 1 run in the 4th. But 3 in the 5th and 1 in the 7th by Plainsman has made this thing very interesting. Zap lead 9-7, but good answers by Plainsman.
And we've seen the Zap lose momentum in the 4, 5, 6 before this season, and feels like you've just got to get another insurance run here to kind of stop the bleeding.
Braxton Plemmons and Aquero working, going back and forth on quick innings, and Connor Hammonds quickly swinging and missing at strike 1. Hammonds, Gledhill, and Johnson due up for the Zap here in the bottom of the 7th. Hammonds swings over top of that breaking ball, and it's quickly 0-2. And I think we might see, well, of course, Aiden Johnson got pulled out, so it'll be Connor Goldberg hitting in place of Aiden Johnson. That one misses high for ball 1. That steady breeze staying steady, pushing out towards the right field part of this ballpark. Connor Hammond swings over that breaking ball for strike number 3. I'll tell you what, Aquero has been dealing since he's come into this ball game. In a relief for Matthew Array.
That was his 7th strikeout of the game in relief. That is impressive numbers.
So we'll see if Garrett Gledhill can get to the untouchable Aquero. First pitch to him off the plate for ball 1. Gledhill with a Jeff Bagwell-like stance in that left-handed batter's box. He takes strike 1 right over the middle of the plate. Count works back to 1-1.
Yeah, Gledhill going to need to get something going here for the Zap. We saw him win the game the other night with his game-winning RBI against Casper.
The 1-1 to Gledhill is ripped towards center field. Playing way back was Brady Alexander. He is under it and makes the play for out number 2. And now Goldberg will come up as the last hope here in the bottom of the 7th inning. You know, if you're the Zap, you feel somewhat comfortable. You're sitting with a 2-run lead, but Plainsmen have done all the swinging as of late. They've gotten all of their runs from the deep ball. So we'll see if maybe the Zap can answer with a homer of their own. Zap finally winning their first game in which they hit a home run 2 days ago with that Vince Polizzi grand slam. We saw a couple more homers yesterday as the first pitch is swung on and missed by Goldberg. Another good off-speed pitch by Aquero.
Another thing that's got to be so weird for these traveling teams, ever being home on the scoreboard, you're always just kind of fighting, especially in the top of the ninth in some of these games.
As that one's in there quickly for strike 2. Looks like it possibly could be Wyatt Gladue down in the bullpen working for the Zap. As that one swung on and missed. Another quick, lightning fast inning from Aquero. Gets the side retired for the Zap. No runs, no hits, nobody left for Oahe. They lead 9-7 as we head to the top of the 8th.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Top of the 8th, and the hold situation is on. The man in charge of keeping it, TJ Eikenberry. Part of that kind of setup duo with his college teammate Jackson Cornett. Those will certainly be a couple of guys that the Zap will be missing when they have to report for their college's spring or fall ball, I should say, here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to kind of turn over some of these new names, but it sounds like nothing but raw talent coming in for the Zap here in the upcoming weeks, so that'll be exciting to see.
Yeah, you got a couple of guys to come in and help replace them, but not as many bullpen arms, I think, coming in as maybe you're losing, so maybe it'll be a chance for some of these guys to maybe take a step up on the team. As I know one of the guys coming in is Drew Drake, another Ellsworth player, so we'll lose 2 and we'll gain 1. He's doesn't really profile as the same type of pitcher as maybe a guy like Jackson Cornett, who I got to talk to the other day. He says he really just goes out there and lets his velo kind of do his thing. And Drew Drake, bit of a milder velocity on him, but has some incredible off-speed stuff that he is going to throw a majority of the time, as TJ Eikenberry trying to keep the deficit at 2 for Plainsmen. Zap lead 9-7 as the southpaw comes set. Driven back the other way, Golden sizing it up, and 1 pitch, 1 out there for TJ Eikenberry.
Well, I was just about to say that, he's likely going to try to do his best Braxton Plemons and Aquero impression. Just get quick outs on quick pitches, and now if you're the Zap, all you're thinking is we are 5 outs away from getting our 4th straight win. And that has got to be a great proposition. You got to get it done.
As batter comes to the plate, Eikenberry comes set. 1 away, and that one in there for strike 1. And It's Jake Steffes coming to the plate, and I thought the whole idea of us playing the opposing team's walk-up songs was to give them a bad song. I just heard one of the best ones we've probably had all year, Nothing on You. I was a big fan of that song back in the day, as that one fouled off into the fencing for strike 2.
Yeah, and quickly ahead for TJ Eikenberry. And if he can go 1, 2, 3 here, I think after some of those little rockier outings that he had earlier in this homestand, this will be great medicine for him to get things back on the right track.
The 0-2 swung on and missed. The 4th pitch of the inning, and the second out already here for TJ Eikenberry.
Yeah, and Eikenberry feels like he's all business right now.
This is kind of the TJ Eikenberry that the Zap faithful had kind of gotten used to seeing. He has been so crucial for this team, but a couple of shaky results here in this homestand as he comes set with 2 away. Off speed, just misses for ball 1.
And Eikenberry working quickly. Something he does when he's in a rhythm, he doesn't want any breaks in between. He wants to get right back to pitching.
1-0 here from Eikenberry. That one catches some plate for strike 1.
Good off-speed pitch there, curving across the plate.
It really broke in on the batter there, Hackett.
Didn't really give him an opportunity to swing the bat on that one. Would have broken his bat if he did.
1-1 here from Eikenberry. That one swung on, put into play. Phillips and Curiel chasing. Phillips calls him off. 6 pitches for TJ Eikenberry, and the Zap hold a 9-7 lead heading to the bottom of the 8th.
Thinking of travel, Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive. Not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey,
Zap lead 9-7 here in the bottom of the 8th. And they're trying to get some much-needed insurance as the Plainsmen have started to chip away at this one. Zap also trying to score in double digits for the 4th consecutive game as Caden Bazanski gets ready to lead things off here.
And I wonder, with a group of guys that have as much fun as this Zap Ball Club does, if they can get the win but don't eclipse that 10-run total, if they'll just kind of joke with each other of, maybe treat this like a loss, even though it would be a win. But, hey, we didn't get to the 10 runs, the double digits like we have in the past 3 games.
Well, if the lead stands, they wouldn't have the bottom of the 9th to try for 10, so this might be the last shot for the Zap, as it's Spencer Schmidt on the mound for the Plainsmen, tasked with taking the baton exchange from Aquero, who did just so commendable in relief. Was really an incredible day for him on the mound. 8 strikeouts and 4 2/3 innings for him, as quickly Bazanski ahead in the count 2-0.
Yeah, that had to be tough for the Plainsman coaching staff to have to yank him out of the ball game, pitching so well.
Threw more pitches than the starter, as that one Bazanski jumps out of the way up for ball 3. He threw one more pitch than the starter Array, and it really was an impressive outing. And if Plainsmen can complete this comeback, you really have to give all the credit in the world to Aquero. 3-0, runs outside, and Bazanski will trot his way to first. Leadoff walk for the Zap, a good equation. We saw them have some issues with the leadoff walks a couple of series ago, and even in those first 2 games versus Casper, it was kind of the Achilles heel of this Zap pitching staff was they were giving up leadoff walks to fast runners, and that's exactly what Plainsmen just did to Caden Bazansky. As Kadena now to the plate, watches off speed in there for strike 1.
And that's especially with the way that the Zap offense has been operating lately. That is the last thing you want to do is give a free pass with nobody out.
The 0-1 here to Kadena misses inside and high for ball 1. So the Zap trying to get to double digits for the 4th straight game and kind of heat off this Plainsman comeback as the 1-1 swung on. Out in front of that was Kadena for strike 2. As Zap actually being out-hit for what feels like the first game in a long time. Plainsman 11 hits, Zap only 7, as Kadena just about went down looking there. Close call there for ball 2.
And that is one I think Jamie Habiger is asking Kadena. I want you to maybe see you swing at that one, try to foul it off, because it's a 50-50 pitch.
As the 2-2 here to Kadena. Zansky at first, nobody away. Kadena chops that one towards the shortstop. Might be a double play ball. Kadena reaching in time. They get the lead runner, Bazansky, at second, but Kadena really showing an impressive sprint there to not go down, as it'll be Jake Daly coming to the plate.
Yeah, and Ivan Gomez, the second baseman for Plainsman, turning to Dax Wandler and saying, I'd like that one underhanded to me the next time. It's interesting between these middle infielders of how they like to receive the ball, how they can kind of make the turn a little bit easier, but with a fast runner like Noah Kadena, really no chance of getting that double play.
Jake Daly to the plate, a walking dictionary, has given me some of the hardest words possible to fit into the broadcasts. As he comes set, that one fouled off the other way. As he's got Kadena at first, one away here for the Zap. Trying to score for the first time since the bottom of the 4th. Put up that huge inning where they scored 6th in the 3rd as we have a wild ball in play, but no one knows it. Jake Daly puts that one into the gap, though. Kadena going to stop at second. So it ends up being station to station on a very well-hit ball there from Jake Daly.
Wow. Surprised to see Kadena still standing at second with as aggressive as these Zap base runners have been, and with Habiger knowing that he hates the double play opportunity. I thought we might see Kadena try to stretch that one out and get to third, but hey, you got runners on first and second, only one out, and a good hitter in Emiliano Curiel coming to the plate.
I think if that might have still been Bazansky there, they might have tested the arm, but without Kadena sprinted to first, it felt like he might have had the opportunity there as Curiel comes to the plate. That one catching the inside part of the zone for strike 1. As Daly, a one-out single, moves Kadena to second. Still one away here for the Zap, trying to add some insurance heading to the 9th. With Jackson Cornett warming up in the bullpen. The 0-1 here to Emiliano Curiel. Outside for ball 1, a nice impressive play there from O'Connell to kind of lunge out and keep that one in the glove.
Yeah, we've seen O'Connell make a couple great defensive plays back behind the dish today. It's always got to be so refreshing and a comforting feeling when you've got a catcher like Brian O'Connell back behind as a pitcher, just knowing that you can be a little bit looser on your throws, try to throw something a little bit nastier, knowing your guy's going to block it back there.
That one broke really far away from Curiel, and O'Connell just about having to jump into the left-handed batter's box to grab that one. The 1-1 to Curiel, driven. That one going to get down into the gap. That one's going to score Kadena. Curiel heading to second. We'll see if the second runner gets the go-ahead. He heads there. Curiel was almost caught in a rundown, but they throw to third. Jake Daly comes in to score. Curiel tripped on his way back to second, putting on the stop sign, but he's back safe in time, and the Zap have a 4-run lead.
There's the insurance that they were looking for, and credit Emiliano Curiel. He wanted the triple on that. He was eyeing third, and he was trying to leg for it, but Dax Wandler with an outstanding relay throw from shortstop to third would have had Emiliano out surely by a mile. So good job by Curiel for hitting the brakes and heading back to second to keep this rally alive.
And it brings Gavin Frazier to the plate as he swings on that one for strike one. It felt like Yondler might have been able to just keep that one in the glove and run to second, as felt like Frazier was still making his way back to the bag when he threw that one to third, but maybe just playing it safe as Curiel standing at second. The 0-1 here to Frazier, chopped towards the opposing dugout for strike two.
Well, it all kind of happened at the same time. I think Wandler heard those footsteps of Curiel rounding second and heading for third and knew that he had time to get the relay and possibly had an out. So Dax Wandler making the right decision on the play, but Curiel also making the right decision.
0-2 in there to Frazier, and the ump.
He looked like
he
was
wanted to ring him up.
He was yell strike three.
He was wanting that one. He's kind of cocking the arm there and ends up putting it back calmly at his side for ball one. Gavin Frazier just about went down looking. That might be another one that Coach Habiger wants him to swing at. But he's so disciplined at the plate. I feel like you can kind of trust his judgment. As the 1-2 here now to Frazier. Curiel bouncing around a little bit at second. That one misses outside for ball two. And I'm not going to say it because it's one of the kind of default lines in MLB The Show. They talk about batters being maybe a guy that the umpire can trust for a strike zone. I'm not going to say it, but Gavin Frazier certainly feels like he has a great understanding of his zone. As the 2-2 to him, as he puts that one into play, that one gets down. Curiel going to get the stop sign as Gavin Frazier heads for two. He puts on the brakes. He falls down. Curiel going to go score. Gavin Frazier just about getting back to first in time, but they opt to tag. So Frazier is tagged out, but Curiel scores and gives the Zap a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the eighth.
Well, I don't know if this was the intention of Gavin Frazier, but we'll credit him with this. We'll just say that he decided to get in that rundown and let the runner score from third. Curiel doing a really good job of seeing that throw go to second base and getting a big lead and kind of forcing the decision of Ivan Gomez, the second baseman.
As Golden comes to the plate, he chops that one foul down the first base line.
But a scenario when the Zap will absolutely trade the out for the run to add that insurance, now leading 12-7. Extending it out to 5. Those are a few huge runs here in the bottom of the eighth for Oahe.
And it feels like with those two runners on, they would have probably tried the double steal as the 0-1 to Golden. And, I mean, that's the result you want in a double steal if you have one out to play with, is the runner to score. I mean, you'd like the guy to be standing at second base right now, but you'll certainly take that trade as they lead by 5 as Golden launches that one in for strike two.
And it is worth mentioning, for the 4th straight day, the Zap have scored 10 or more runs. 2nd straight day, they've scored 12.
Nick Golden trying to stay alive here. That one bounces into the mask of the catcher. He doesn't know where that one went, but there's nobody on. He doesn't have to. As Naruto Saito gets that one out of the backstop. As Nick Golden trying to continue his excellent day. 2 for 4. And another string of good performances for him. The 2-2. This is outside for ball 3.
Good at back here, going for Nick Golden. Being patient. Trying to force this pitcher to throw strikes. And look who's on deck.
He's behind 1-2. Now the payoff pitch. Runs in for strike 3. Golden thought he was going to get a ball there. Palizzi will not come up to bat. At least the Zap hope. They hold a 5-run lead as Jackson Cornett comes trotting out for the 9th.
What that means, the Oahe Zap are back, and we at DRG Media Group are bringing you coverage of every Zap home game all summer long. You can hear all the home Zap games on River 92.7, or you can watch them live on drgnews.com at the River 92.7 station page. The Zap are offering you fans something new every single night, so get out to Hyde Stadium for some Zap baseball this summer. Purchase your tickets on oahezap.com or buy them at the box office. If you can't make it to the game, we've got you covered on River River 92.7, Oahe Zap Baseball, brought to you by DRG Media Group.
Top of the ninth inning here as the Zap and Jackson Cornett look to shut down the Plainsmen. They lead 12-7, 3 massive insurance runs coming in the bottom of the eighth, exactly what the Zap were looking for. And it's almost on command, it feels like, in these past 4 games. When the Zap need offense, they sure find it. They've fallen behind in a couple of these games, but they've come roaring back at each one of these wins. And they are 3 outs away from getting their 4th straight victory and taking down a Plainsman baseball team that you want to talk about fight. You want to talk about a team that hasn't rolled over. Credit Plainsman. They got behind 9-3, and they just have kind of scrapped and clawed their way back into the ball game, and I don't expect them to do anything different here in the top of the ninth inning.
It's certainly a very resilient bunch, and Jackson Cornett with 5 runs to play with won't get another chance at a save, but he appreciated me giving him the honorary save last time, so I'll double down. I'll give him another honorary save if he can pick it up here.
Well, you feel like in a 9-7, a 2-run ball game, that this is really crunch time and a nerve-wracking situation for the Zap with the way that Plainsman has just continued to answer. But they now trail by 5. Certainly not over. This Plainsman team can strike in the matter of an inning and in the blink of an eye. So we'll see if Jackson Cornett could come out and get it done for the Zap here in the top of the ninth. And he will start off by facing the bottom of the order in Braden Boyle. Boyle moving some dirt around. The final words from Noah Cadena to Jackson Cornett. Cadena makes his way back behind the dish. As tomorrow will be the final game of this series between these two squads. If they can get 3 more outs, Zap will look for the sweep tomorrow. Fill you in on the times and the post-game show. First pitch from Jackson Cornett is pumped in for strike 1. Mother Nature must be a baseball fan looking at the forecast. There's rain all over top of us as this one's bounced in for ball 1. But it's not here at the ballpark.
And it really came down earlier this morning.
And then it got sunny. And then it got overcast again. And I think it might rain a little bit later tonight. That's one thing you learn here. We never turn our nose up at rain here in South Dakota. Here's the 1-1 from Cornett in there for strike 2.
Letting the velo do its stuff.
Cornett just letting it eat.
He's not one to complicate things. He'll probably come attack here if the 1-2 count.
We'll see how Boyle handles it. He's behind 1-2. The claps are starting here for the hometown crowd. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. They'll flip it around the diamond. Jackson Cornett just letting the dog loose with the fastball, and he's 2 outs away from picking up another honorary save.
He's a Cardinals fan like myself. He says his favorite player ever is Adam Wainwright, but he throws a lot more like Ryan Helsley. Just pumps the zone with straight gas.
So now face the top of the lineup again. It's Brady Alexander. Alexander sent one over the center field wall earlier today. Alexander waggling the bat back and forth. And this one misses off the plate for ball 2. I think that's Brady Alexander. We can't really get a good look at that number. Yeah, we're not as familiar with the Plainsmen as we are with the Zap. We can kind of tell from the stance and the setup and the hair usually which Zap player is which. That one misses high, and Cornett's behind 3-0.
And it's not even like their numbers are the hardest to read. He just hasn't turned his back to us in a while. I'm pretty sure that's Brady Alexander out there.
Well, he hadn't really had anything to swing at. Here's the 3-0, and that one's way inside, and he draws a walk. That one will skip away from Codina, and Alexander might be thinking 2. But he'll think better of it as Codina hustles to that passed ball.
It'll be the first time we see someone wearing 2 and leading off try that move.
That's right. Gavin Frazier stole every base against Spearfish.
That was probably one of my favorite just plays of the season.
I think he still might be breathing a little heavy from doing all that. That was a tiring trip around the bases for Gavin Frazier. So Dax Wandler will come up. 1 out, runner on first for him, and he watches ball 1 sail outside. And as efficiently as Jackson Cornett took care of Braden Boyle, Braden Boyle went down on a couple fastballs. He's thrown 5 straight balls to the Plainsmen following 2 hitters. We'll see if he can get things back on the right track here. The 1-0, just a bit low for ball 2. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with this announcement, but as of right now, in the top of the 8th inning, the Twins are leading the Mariners 2-0. Twins losers in 11 of their last 12 games. That one catches a piece of the zone for Cornett. His first strike in 7 pitches makes the count 2-1 to Dax Wandler. Twins with some heartbreaking losses, including last night. They were tied 5-5, and then they loaded the bases. And a check on the runner. He's backsliding safely. It's fun to watch Connor Hammonds apply those tags.
I think if I was a Zap pitcher and I was trying to do the pickoff of anybody, it'd be him.
He doesn't even look down at the runner. He catches it and swats the runner like he's swatting a fly in the living room. Big swing and a miss, and Jackson Cornett has evened up the count 2-2. And he would love to get Wandler here and get the second out of the inning. Cornett comes set, a quick peek over at Alexander at first. Takes one more, now delivers just a bit inside, and the count runs full. But this is why those insurance runs in the bottom of the 8th could come in so big for the Zap here. You really don't need to worry about Brady Alexander over at first. Here's the payoff pitch. That one is lined into right field. Goldberg twirling, working, sticks his glove up and makes an outstanding play. He didn't really know how to back up, and Golden just kind of spinning like the spin cycle out in right field. He started to run off to his left, then backpedaled and started to run off to his right, and then at the last second just stuck his glove up and found the ball flying into it. And a flashy second out. Now the final hope here for the Plainsmen is in the form of Christopher Ortega. 2 outs, 12-7 Zap lead. Nice block by Cadena, keeps Alexander at bay at first. Alexander not wanting to run into the third and final out of this ball game. Really thought about stealing, but Cadena, with a great block, was able to get over to that ball quickly.
Saw Ortega have a bit of trouble with some of the off-speed earlier. See if Cornett elects to go away from the gas at all.
Here's the 1-0. And the dirt ball, too. I don't know, I think it's pretty hard when Cornett's had his fastball working like that for him to change things up and go away from that fastball. He loves the heater. He's behind 2-0. We'll see if he goes back to it. Deep breath from Cornett. The pitch in there for strike one. The strong contingent of Zap fans here trying to will Jackson Cornett to the third and final out and the 4th straight win for the home team. They beat Casper in the final 2. They beat Plainsmen yesterday in the first of this 3-game series. That one's blocked by Cadena. Another nice stop by the Zap catcher. But Ortega with a patient at bat here has worked the count to 3-1. Ortega with a couple taps of the plate, twirls the bat, now comes set. Here's the 3-1 from Jackson Cornett. The pitch in there for strike 2. Ortega did not like that call from Chris Dozark, but now he's down to his final strike.
I know we don't have as good of an angle as maybe Ortega, but I thought that one looked pretty good from up here.
It did. So Ortega is going to have to defend here. 3-2, 2 outs in the top of the ninth. Cornett checks on the runner and throws it away. And now Alexander's going to be able to at least get to second. He's going to turn and head for third. And in a 5-run ball game at the top of the ninth with a 3-2 count and 2 outs, for the life of me, I can't figure out why Jackson Cornett's trying to pick off the runner at first.
Especially with a chance to get the strikeout and end the game.
But now rather than having a force play at first and second, now you got a runner on third. So now back to the task at hand, Christopher Ortega. Cornett with a long look in, now comes set from the stretch. The payoff pitch is grounded to the first base side, and that's going to get through the diving glove of Connor Hammonds, and that'll score the run. So Ortega keeps the line moving. It's now 12-8. The Plainsmen trail, but they've still got life. And that'll bring up the catcher, Brian O'Connell.
And that's why you needed those insurance runs in the bottom of the 8th.
Without those, it would be a 1-run ball game, and the Plainsmen would be a swing away from taking the lead.
So they're going to get a pinch runner here for Ortega.
So Ortega will head back to the dugout. Plainsmen wanting to get just a bit more speed out on the base paths, and Ortega leaving a little bit of laundry on the field as he runs off.
You're supposed to put that in the bag for me to do tomorrow morning, man. You're not supposed to leave it out on the diamond.
But Ortega is reunited with his batting glove. And the pinch runner on first base for the Plainsmen will be Jax Budigan. Saw Budigan in the lineup yesterday. Now he's on first base. This one grounded sharply over to the Zap dugout. And a couple guys scurrying out of the way of that foul ball. Jamie Habiger going through the motions of making that backhanded play. And it's a good start here to O'Connell. 0-1. Budigan leaning towards second, now running. This one lifted high and gonna come towards Noah Cadena. He looks up into the lights and makes the squeeze and retires the side. The game is over. The Zap have won 4 straight. Final here from Hyde Stadium, 12-8. As the Zap continue their great offense. We'll recap all of it for you in our post-game show. As for the 4th straight night, the Zap fans leave as happy campers as the Zap beat the Plainsmen in game number 2 of this series, 12-8.
Hey, it's your phone talking. Yeah, your phone. You know, that thing you're constantly picking up and poking around. Listen, when you're behind the wheel, would you please give me a break? You'll have plenty of time for your TikToks and, I don't know, texting your friends after you put it in park. Distracted driving, friend. No joke. One quick text or social media feed can cause a crash. And hey, I don't want any part of that. You got someplace to be. And trust me, I'll enjoy it at downtime. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety and its station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes. Pay by the round. Save with a punch card or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers nonstop flights from Pierre to Denver. From there, you can fly anywhere. Book to your destination and check bags through on United, Delta, or American Airlines. 1-hour flights on 50-passenger jets to Denver, then connecting to your destination. Save travel time and money, avoid the crowds, and free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre Regional Airport.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Put it in the win column for the Zap. It's their 4th straight. They take down Plainsmen 12-8. Let's recap the scoring for you before they shut our scoreboard off for the evening. The Zap get out in front early at the bottom of the first, 2-0. Plainsmen with a big answer in the top of the second. A 3-run home run gives them the lead 3-2, but the Zap came back out in the bottom of the third. They scored 6. In the bottom of the fourth, they scored 1. Plainsmen answered yet again in the top of the 5th inning with 3 runs. And then it was scoreless until the top of the 7th when Plainsmen added 1 more. 3 huge insurance runs for the Zap in the bottom of the 8th inning. Was able to stave off a potential comeback by Plainsmen, who scored 1 in the top of the 9th. Noah Cadena makes the final out. And we saw another great pitching outing from a couple of different Zap tonight. It's their 4th straight win. It's their 4th straight game, scoring 10 or more runs. And now that makes 47 combined runs in their final 4 games, in their last 4 games, I should say. And they look ahead for the possible sweep tomorrow, and we'll have the coverage for you. We'll get to that in a moment, but as good of a day as this was for the Oahe Zap, I think Plainsmen have to be holding their heads high. They got hits 12 times, and they scored 8 runs, and that should carry some momentum, make for a very exciting Game 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, and it might be a bit like we saw the Zap versus Casper in that Game 2 of that series, where you kind of had the momentum, but you couldn't complete the comeback, but you really started playing some of your better baseball after that, and I've been really impressed with this travel team. I mean, you don't have anywhere to call home. You're moving around in Sprinter vans from hotel to hotel, and I mean, it can't be a glamorous life, but they sure are a resilient team, and I certainly expect them to be back tomorrow for a competitive ball game.
So the Zap will have their hands full tomorrow night. Going to be a big night at the ballpark tomorrow evening. It's Pier Wildcats, South Dakota Special Olympics team night. And they're going to have a dunk tank. They're going to have players throwing out the first pitch. They're going to have athletes participating in games. It is just going to be, I think, even an athlete, his name is Colton, a really good runner, competed well in the state finals, might be trying to beat the Bolt tomorrow. We saw the Bolt get dusted, so we'll see if Colton can make it 2 in a row for the fans here and beat the Bolt. But if you want to make it out to a Zap game, tomorrow's the one to get to. They're going to be raising money for South Dakota Special Olympics. Going to be an all-around great evening.
I got 3 words for you. Pack the hide. Get here tomorrow, man. I mean, you got to be here. Got to support the Pier Wildcats. And, I mean, this team's on a 4-game win streak themselves.
Well, we've seen the contingent of Zap fans steadily growing throughout this win streak, and I expect there to be a whole lot of fans here tomorrow night. We'll go on the air at 5:55. First pitch will be set for 6:05 as the Zap go for the sweep and their 5th straight win. For Eli Lewis, for Dillon Beach, I'm Justin Cowart, thanking you for tuning in and thanking our sponsors at the Pier Area Chamber of Commerce, the Pier Regional Airport, Venture Communications for sponsoring our first inning Fiber Fact. Big thanks to Jamie Habiger for joining us in the booth. We'll be back tomorrow night at 5:55 on River 92.7 and streaming on drgnews.com. So long. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow evening for some more Zap Baseball.
This broadcast of Oahe Zap Baseball was brought to you by DRG Media Group and its sponsors. The next home Zap game will be broadcast right here on River 92.7 and drgnews.com. Thanks for tuning in.